Welcome welcome all to the SnailTrail4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun at Toyotas, and of course, hearing about how fantastic racing in Toyotas is, then this is the podcast for you. That's right, ladies and germs. My name is Tyler, and joining me for another episode of the SnailTrail4x4 podcast, Jimmy, that guy.
Moi.
This guy over here on the couch. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing very good. Thank you.
Good.
How are you?
Doing pretty well.
Nice.
Yeah. It's life is rolling.
Definitely is.
Rolling right along. I'm looking forward to camping and wheeling this weekend.
Yeah. How was that since it's Monday?
Is it Monday? Oh, it is Monday. It was great. The mule did awesome. Didn't have any issues with it. Very comfy.
Perfect.
So it made vroom vroom noises, which is always fun. Yeah, it was good. We had a good trip. So we'll tell you guys that about that on Thursday.
Yeah.
And all the rain we got. Let's see. Today on the docket for you guys, we have a guest in the studio. He actually drove down to the studio, which was pretty cool to see him and chat with him in person. Really cool dude. I didn't know very much at all of his background.
No, I knew nothing.
And kind of where he came from. I just knew that he drove a red Toyota at King of the Hammers. And he's got some really fun stories. He sounds like a really fun dude to go hang out around a campfire with, go wheeling with. Just make sure your winch is ready to go. So before we get into the interview with him, though, we do have a couple things going on this month. One of them is right here. We have a giveaway going on with Stellar Built, and Dimitri over there brought by this Dobinson trail bag, which is a pretty freaking sweet bag. It was $150.
I think it was like $125.
$125 value. Trail bag, super heavy duty, vented in the bottom so stuff falls out of it. I mean, not stuff, but like liquid moisture stuff you don't want to stay in there falls out of it, and keeps all the stuff in that you want to stay in there. So
absolutely. It's got a divider in it for his and hers trashes if you want to separate it like that or whatever. But super nice of Dimitri to be donating this. They're our show sponsor this month. So if you need any off-road fabrication work from brakes to gears or lifts to probably lowers, who knows what they do over there?
Everything.
They do everything.
Man.
Yeah, make sure to go check out Stellar Built. They're probably, I would say they are in the top 5 best off-road shops in the nation.
I agree. In the nation for sure. The work that they do that's coming out of that shop is really impressive. I would argue that they are the top Toyota shop.
Oh yeah,
in the nation.
Absolutely.
They know Toyotas really well, and now that they're branching out and doing more vehicles overall, different brands, different makes, models, they're on their way to the top. Awesome. For overall, I think so. Dimitri's doing an awesome job there. He just has a different way of viewing vehicles in the sense that he doesn't want to make a plain Jane vehicle.
Correct.
He has to put his little spin on it, and he has some really fun spins for vehicles.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you haven't listened to whatever it was, episode, I think 336 with Stellar Built, make sure to go listen to that one. So that was definitely a fun episode. So thanks.
Whoa, Jimmy.
Thanks to Stellar Built for donating this really nice Dobinson trash bag. Let's see. We also have another giveaway going on this series until we get to 800 reviews on Apple Podcast. We are giving away an elite membership from Onyx Off-Road.
Yeah, super cool. I actually used Onyx very recently for a couple different things. One was to check the weather for our trip last weekend.
Oh, okay.
They have a really cool feature where you can drop a pin on Onyx anywhere you want, and then you can get a weather forecast.
Oh, that's
for
nice.
that area. And I believe that they are tied into Open Snow and a couple other weather networks to give you what that weather forecast looks like. So it's pretty cool. You don't have to just put in a town, like a zip code or something like that to figure out what the weather is in that area. You can just drop a pin and it gives you an option right there to check all your weather forecasts. It's pretty rad.
That's great. I wish I knew that earlier.
Yeah.
Because when we went to Cantina for the con, I was like, well, it's kind of near Loon Lake, so I'll search what Loon Lake weather is going to be. And Loon Lake was supposed to be like a high of 70.
Oh, yeah.
And Rob's resort was, when we drove up there, the truck was saying it was like 75 when we showed
75
up.
to 80,
at
I'd
like
say that
10
day.
o'clock in the morning or whatever. Well, 11 o'clock when we got there.
Yeah.
And the assistant chose to wear pants.
Okay.
Because she's like, oh, it's going to be 70. It's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And she regretted that. So I'll have to play with Onyx a little bit more.
Yeah. Right now, for any, like, if I'm just looking for weather in Sacramento, I'll just, Google weather in Sacramento or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
But if I'm looking for any kind of camping trip, backpacking trip, wheeling trip up in the mountains, I'm always checking the weather on Onyx. It's pretty rad. I also used it recently to figure out that the Garnet fire, I don't know if you've heard about that.
No.
It's down near Fresno going on right now outside of Dinky Creek.
Okay.
But one of my employees was down camping in Dinky Creek and had satellite texting on his cell phone.
Sure.
So he texted me and he goes, hey, it's a little smoky down here. Is there a fire nearby?
Yeah.
And I pulled up the live fire layer on Onyx and I was like, oh yeah, there's a fire about 10 miles away from you. You should probably get out of there.
Wow.
So he packed up and left.
Okay.
And which is a good thing because the Garnet fire is still going on. And it's turning into kind of a big fire right now.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of really cool stuff other than just mapping software that you get out of Onyx, and having this elite membership is a rad thing to have. And in my opinion, it's an invaluable asset if you're going and adventuring out where you don't have internet and cell service. So
yeah. And it's invaluable.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just like you said, if you are in an area that you have no idea where to go, I mean, you can't go wrong with having a fantastic mapping software.
Yep.
And all the really cool things it does, like the 3D mapping. That was really fun when we were when we did that. Yep. That was cool. So anyways, I think that's it. We had a very fun interview today with this young gentleman. I'm saying young because he's younger than me, but he's probably
older than me though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So there you go. And he started off, before we even hit the red button, he started off saying he's not very witty. He's not, not sure how he's going to do on the podcast. And then as soon as we asked him a question, off to the races. Yeah, he was. Okay, yeah. And very long-winded on some very fun stories. So excited to share this with you. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. We got Chris here from Mean Street Racing. We weren't able to get Jensen because he's being a big boy and working. But if you guys are looking at the video here, we got some t-shirts. We might keep these for ourselves. We might throw them in for a swag pack for somebody, but they're pretty rad t-shirts. If you like what you're hearing today, and you're a big fan of Chris and his personality and what he's doing with racing, go buy a t-shirt from him. Hit him up on Instagram. He might send you one too. I'd try and buy it so that you're supporting the race program. But they're pretty cool t-shirts. I love the design. I love that it's just rock crawling. It's just rock crawling. It's just rock crawling, man. Yep. So we'll take a quick break here. We'll hear a little bit from Brian at 4-Wheel Underground, and then we'll be right on back with Chris from Mean Street Racing.
At 4-Wheel Underground, we have something for everyone's 79 through 04 Toyota vehicle. Whether you've got a Chevy Dana 60, 05 and up Super Duty, fabricated, FJ80, or mini truck axles, we got you covered. 3-link, 4-link, parallel, and triangulated suspension kits, we've got you covered. Under-bed coilover mounts, through-bed coilover mounts, trailing arms, cantilevers, custom-tuned coilovers, and air bumps, we've got you covered. Frame stiffeners, subframes, skid plates, shock towers, and more to come. Make sure to use coupon code SnailTrail at 4wheelunderground.com because we've got you covered.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. We let Chris out of the very small 5x5 green room here. How was that room, by the way, Chris? Just before we jump into everything, it's a nice room, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's great.
Anyways, we have here on the show today for you guys another Ultra 4 racer extraordinaire. This one is a little closer to our hearts because he drives a Toyota, so he's doing the right things, as we like to say. We got Chris Meneley here from Mean Street Racing. How the hell are you, Chris?
Doing good.
Yeah.
Nice. First time doing one of these things, so see see how I'm able to put the words together.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You get the gift of gab going today.
Yeah, we'll see. I tried to take some notes from, what's his name? See, it's not even working right now. Joe Rogan, and take some Alpha Brain beforehand, but I totally forgot. So.
Yeah. Perfect. You didn't have enough coffee. That's what it really was.
Yeah. I need another pot on top of the pot I already had. So.
There you go.
Then I'd probably be pissing this whole time, and
that's fine. That's what the race catheters in the couch are for. So
it's fitting. Yeah.
Exactly. Anyways, dude, you're here. So you essentially the high level reason why you're here is because you have a mental problem.
Yeah.
Where you race Ultra 4 in a second gen Toyota pickup.
Yes, sir. 85 extra
cab Toyota pickup. So we've interviewed Justin Reese before.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And talked with him about his experiences racing Ultra 4 in an older mini truck kind of platform. We've talked with Cody Addington about his Toyota pickup, right? So now we're getting another one on the show to hear about your experiences racing an 85 Toyota pickup in Ultra 4. How you got to that? What makes you sit here and be like, I'm going from recreation wheeling into this transition to racing? And a couple other things in between. There's also, I want to chat with you and kind of pick your brain about what's going on in Johnson Valley right now and what that means to you as a racer. As well as, so I think we're gonna have some other fun stories pop up. So let's jump into it, shall we?
Sounds good.
Where the hell did you come from? So like, are you local to NorCal here?
Yeah. So I grew up, Pleasant Hill, Martinez.
Okay.
But I've lived up in the Chico Paradise area since 2014.
Okay.
So 11 years.
Are you still up in Paradise then?
Yeah. So I've lived in Paradise the last 2 years. But I lived in Chico, for however many years before that.
So you weren't in Paradise when the fire ripped through?
I was, but for work.
Okay.
So, I'm a fireman.
Okay.
And that was actually the battalion that I worked in.
No shit.
So I just transferred up to that battalion in Paradise that year.
Wow.
Leading up to that fire. So
how was all that? I mean, I've never gotten to talk to anybody that was on the front lines of the Paradise fire. And obviously it was a very destructive, very fast moving fire, that, is now a renowned California history, right?
Yeah.
How was that being on the front lines in that battalion, dude?
It was a very unique experience to say the least. I mean, I've been a fireman for about going on 14 years now.
Okay.
Experienced a lot of crazy shit, Sure. So I worked for the state for, about 10 years. I've worked for a different agency now for the last about 3.5. And, crazy shit happens all the time. Just you see these communities burn down and all this death and destruction, and to have it in Butte County, it's a very wild place, so there's always fires and crazy shit happening there. But this one was like, obviously it's, world known really. And it was such a crazy experience to have because it's happening right there. Like a town decimated in a day, overnight. So to speak. I mean, it started in the morning, but what I'm saying, like figure of speech, like overnight, just the town that you serve, you've been, driving through town, going to the grocery store, seeing all the people, going to the medical aids, going to all the other emergencies. And that's that place decimated, and people tend to only associate the campfire with Paradise, but it was actually a vast majority of Butte County. Like there's other communities that
it was a huge fire, man.
I mean, I can't say hit harder, but there's other communities that were destroyed as well. Concal, Yankee Hill, all that stuff, like hit into Magalia. But interesting. So actually might as well talk about that a little bit. It kind of goes full circle. So my co-driver, my main dude. So my buddy, Eric Jensen is what he goes by. Nobody knows his real name. So Jensen, you've probably seen him on the Rubicon. He lives pretty local to Rubicon. He drives a tubed out 4Runner stuff, and he's always out there with his family. But
probably ran into him on the trail a few times.
Yeah. So he lived in Paradise at the time. Oh, wow. And they just had their daughter. So they got a young son and a young daughter. I think daughter was maybe not even a year old yet, and the son was maybe a year or two older than that. So like 2 or 3 year old and a newborn, essentially, And so he's out of town. He's a pipeline welder. We'll get into some of that later as to why he's not part of some of the races during the summer. Okay, because he's working.
Gotcha.
So he's out at work. He's gone. He's out of town. He's usually out of town quite a bit. His wife, Corey, texts me at like 7 in the morning. I'm sitting down with a cup of coffee in my recliner, usual thing. I'll read a book. And then she texts me. She's like, hey, Chiz, is there a fire? And like sends me a picture of the horizon. And it has this brown smoke. Like, yeah, it looks like there's a fire. You know, this is in November. So, you know, it's 7. The sun's just kind of coming up. You see the haze. And I'm like, I don't say anything to her yet. And I'm like, okay, let me investigate this. So overnight, they'll send out an email in the morning for like the incident report numbers that so you can reference them to do your reports. Right. Okay. So I'm like, oh, there was a fire dispatched in the Feather River Canyon at 6:30. So then they issued us radios, you know. So I turn my radio on, I'm listening to it, and obviously there's a fire and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, there's a fire, you know. So I call her, I'm like, yeah, there's a fire. She's like, oh my God, what do I do? I'm like, it's fine. It's far away. Like it's way out in the canyon. No big deal. She's like, oh, should I, you know, be ready to go? I'm like, just pack a bag. Sure. Just pack a bag. No big deal, you know? And so, and then I look at the weather data. There's a weather station out there in the Jarbo Gap weather station, which is funnels right out of the Feather River Canyon station I used to work at when I started. Okay. And that area is notorious for ripping winds. Yeah. Like ripping winds, historical fire behavior and all that stuff. So look at that. And it was like sustained winds of like somewhere in 40 to 50 miles an hour, like gusts, like substantially more than that, you know? Wow. So I'm like, oh shit. That's not good. Like, all right, well, it's a real fire, right? But you know, I talked to her. I was like, hey, no worries. It's
you're still far away.
And that fire started at 6:30. She called me about 7 and I'm listening to my radio. It's about 7:30 or so ish, pushing 8 o'clock and just sitting there. And I'm kind of like, I love, you know, all of us, we're like kind of fire nerds, right? Yeah, so we like to tune into stuff. And this would have been my first day on duty. Like, so it was a Thursday and my schedule at the time was Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So, but I was on vacation. I had plans with buddies to go mountain biking and stuff. They were coming to town. And, so, you know, I'm listening to all my boys, you know, getting after it or what's going on with that incident. But then they started dispatching what they thought were separate incidents in the town of Paradise. And so they're, you know, you have the initial dispatch for that. Yeah. Well, the dispatch for that initial fire in the canyon. And then from there, they start pulling resources to send separate dispatches, which allocate a certain amount of resources to these other fires, which they thought were separate. Yeah. So this gives me chills every time I tell this story, like legitimately. So Air Attack, the guy is basically the spotter playing this guy, you know, coordinates all the air resources, eyes in the sky for the ground resources. They're usually up later in the morning, like 9, 10 o'clock is like their normal, you know, the air taker base and everything opens up about that time. Well, the command center will call them and be like, all right, hey, we got a significant fire in the canyon. We need you to get up. So the battalion chief goes to the air base. He gets up, he's flying over and I hear him. He's like, Orville Air Attack 210 prior traffic. And there's a lot of traffic going on. So they don't really hear him. And he comes back very deliberately. Orville Air Attack 210 priority traffic. And they're like, yeah, go ahead. Because they have like some, you know, they get all catty and stuff in there. Yeah. And he's like, fires in Paradise. We need to evacuate the whole town from Upper Skyway all the way through the bottom of the town. They're like, wow. And at that moment, it was like, oh shit. And they're like confirming fires in Paradise. He's like, affirmative. And it was just like, still, I get chills right now too. Because I heard that. Yeah. That was the moment I was like, oh shit.
And what time was that?
It was just before 8 o'clock. So
an hour and a half.
And a half. That fire, I did the math. I looked at as a crow flies, that fire traveled because it's just blowing embers, right? Yeah. All those fires they thought were individual fires.
Were embers that were coming off of the main fire.
They were spot fires ahead of the main body of that fire because the wind was blowing them so far. Wow. Long range spotting is what you call it. So this is extreme long range spotting. So at that point, everyone was like, oh shit. So then I call Corey, Jensen's wife. I'm like, hey, fire's in town, you got to get out of town. She's like, okay, God. And that was it. Yeah. Right? Jeez. And then so they were able to pack up and get out of town before the madness, right? You know, there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes along with that, like how the notifications went out and all that stuff. But they were able to get out before all the madness. So, ironically enough, that was, you know, Jensen, you know, my co-driver story. So their house burned down. I was the one to go recon their property. And, I saw it was gone. I was like, well, what do I do? So I found a spot. Cell service sucked during that because the towers were like overwhelmed. Sure. And so I found a spot and I think I called them. I was like, hey man, your house is gone. Like I asked some of my coworkers, I'm like, what do I do? You know, like,
what do you say?
To know, right? Then all these people that are evacuated, not knowing what they're going back to. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? True. So cool part about that is I got assigned. So needless to say, I didn't take my vacation. Yeah. You know, it was kind of cold to arms. I was like, oh shit, I got to go up there. So, Long story short with that, I go up there, I'm on the engine for a day or two. Then I got pulled into the incident as a heavy equipment boss where I get private dozers that are assigned to these fires assigned to me.
Okay.
And then I plug them in, make sure they're working, get them, working on their assignments. And usually long nights, you're hiking, I had really some of the longest nights I've had in, or days and nights that I've had in this career on that incident. Cause I'm flagging in pitch dark, and brush that's taller than my head, making sure that the dozers can see the flag and be able to push all the way down to Lake Orville.
Wow.
And then hiking all the way back up,
Yeah.
So,
Geez.
but, so with that, I had a department utility pickup that I was able to use that was assigned to me for the incident. So
was it an 85 Toyota pickup?
It was like a Ford F-150 or something. That'd be sick though. So what was cool is that I was able to smuggle them in. They weren't letting anybody in town like normal people. So I went down to Chico and I put them in the rig and I gave Jensen one of my CAL FIRE Nomexes and then gave Corey one of my sweatshirts so they look like department employees.
Okay.
And I brought them to their property so they could at least have that moment of closure together. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It's kind of a cool story. I probably wouldn't tell that story if it wasn't Jensen that was the one involved. The reason I found out about the fire was Jensen's wife.
Yeah.
Right. And that just, rest is history.
Yeah.
So it's pretty crazy. Jeez. It's a pretty crazy occurrence. So
how did you and Jensen actually meet?
So he's actually, what is he? His birthday was just last week. I think he's 32.
Okay.
I'm 38. I'll be 38 next month.
All right.
Age gap. But so we used to ride BMX.
Okay.
BMX bikes, go skate parks, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So he grew up in Walnut Creek and I was at the Walnut Creek skate park one night and there wasn't really a lot of people there. I think it was really just me and him, maybe another person that I knew and maybe a couple skateboarders and kids on scooters, But I see this guy and like nowadays brakeless is like the thing, right? Back then, this is like 2008 or 9, 8 or 9 or so. Right. And so like brakeless wasn't really like the cool thing, right? So I see this in like multiple peg, like you could have pegs on one side. Most people have pegs on one side. Mm-hmm. Well, some people have 4 pegs, right? 'Cause they do all these different grinds and stuff on the other side, get creative. And I always ran 3 pegs so I could do like X up grinds and other stuff. So I had 2 pegs on the front. So I see this dude brakeless, right? And he's got 4 pegs and I'm like, who's this guy?
Okay.
So we like start like kind of sessioning together and like that's just how we hit it off. I was like, oh, this kid's cool, and he's hell of young at the time. Like he was early high school, maybe
15 years ago. So
long time ago, So I mean, he was mid high school maybe. Okay. And I was I don't know, early 20s, whatever it was, That's how we met. And then just so happens he was building a Toyota at the time. That's like when Dave's Off-Road was like the thing up there. You know, like he had a bunch of Dave's parts. And at that time, what did I have? I think I had my first gen 4Runner or I had another 85 pickup I bought off a friend of mine. Okay. There was a transition period there. And I think it was somewhere in there. I was kind of over the 4Runner because I kept flopping it over and like the body, it was like top heavy and shit. I'm like, fuck this, So I ended up buying an extra cab 85 off a friend of mine. Wheeled that for a while. Okay. So, but we both realized we're like, oh, dude, you wheel too? Oh shit! Like BMX wheeling, right? So we just became friends from that, and then, that continued on for years. And then he actually moved before I lived up there. He moved up to like Orville. Butte County and started doing the welding program at Butte College. Okay. Then so I ended up selling my rig at a certain point. I think it was, we're kind of getting to the history of my wheeling, right? Yeah. So, wheeling back then, I was living at the house I grew up at my grandma's house. And, I had the shitbox Toyota as a daily driver. I go beat up, smash the windows out. You know how it goes, right? And it just wasn't the one, right? It was just like I'd break shit and then it's like, well, I don't have a fucking car to drive, and granted I worked at a bike shop, which also Jensen worked across the street at Cresco. So you guys company, so we're like flipping each other off all the time, ironically enough. But I just had rigs. I kept beating them up, and my grandma was just like, man, why you gotta park that outside? So I'd try to park at other people's houses and shit, Yeah. Like when I'd wreck it, I rolled my 4Runner down a hill in Hollister, and I parked it at my buddy's house, and then
Truck Hill.
I don't remember. I just turned right down a hill, and before my buddy that was riding in the passenger seat could like tell me like, "Hey, there's a drop right here."
Yeah,
you know how the Hollister is. It's just like rutted shit. You know, so it's like I was turning right down a hill. The front tire dropped down. We just went head over heels and rolled down this hill.
Jeez.
And I didn't have my seatbelt on. I'm like flying all over. I'm lucky to be alive, to be honest. Like, so I'm flying around, and
I'm getting a sense that you're lucky to be alive in multiple ways from your stories.
We stopped rolling, and I look at my buddy, and I'm like, "Hey, you all right?" You know, he was buckled in, right? And I'm like, oh, that was fucking close. So anyway, I rolled it from that. Well, a little bit on that story is a couple trips before we went to Hollister, like a year or so before, I flopped my rig going up the same trail. And it's sitting in the same exact position. Same fucking spot. The only reason, if you look at the pictures, the only way you could tell it's different days is because the clothes I'm wearing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So anyway, I wrecked that thing, and then it still ran. I wheeled it, you know, for the rest. It was just really fucked up. Yeah. And then
that's a great thing about them. You can't kill them.
I know. Yeah. I mean, the only thing that's going to exist after nuclear holocaust is cockroaches and Toyotas. So I parked it at my buddy's house. I trailered it and I brought it to my buddy's house. I left it there for like 2 or 3 months because at the bike shop around New Year's, we get like a stretch of days off. Like we would close down the shop and just be able to, you know, everyone take a collective vacation, do whatever you do. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to have time off available at this time. And fortunately, my buddy's house was a guy that I worked with at the bike shop. Then I bought another 4Runner, really unheard of for all these prices these days. But I bought one off another dude, relatively clean for like $600. But it was running. It was automatic. The transmission was a piece of shit, but I drove it for like 2 or 3 months before I had the time. Then I did a whole body swap over a few days.
Nice.
And then we went wheeling at the spot we had back. We're like, yeah, let's go to Carrot Chills, you know, like, yeah. We rallied up the guys. It was like the spot we just go have fires, blow shit up, you know. It's all shut down now, but that was like the spot back in the day. And it's kind of like Hollister. It's just like rutted mud and stuff. So this is in January. It's muddy. Dude, I flopped I rolled my 4Runner the first night onto the roof. And I had a fucking meltdown that night. I was like, fuck. Like, you know, anyways, so I forget where I was going with all this. That's kind of the 4Runner. And then I was like, you know, I put a new windshield in it. That's all it needed from that.
Okay.
Fresh body, right? The body didn't get messed up. I just did a body swap.
Yeah.
It was straighten out the A-pillars white to red. What's that?
You have to straighten out the A-pillars and do some body work on all that?
It was just like the center between of the windshields that's crushed down. So I just bashed it up. Yeah. And then a guy came by and put a windshield in.
Nice.
And, which he also did a windshield for me in my Honda Civic because a BMX bike came off the top, broke he's done like 2 or 3 windshields for me. I'm like, hey man, what's up? And you know what's crazy? I was working at Pittsburgh at the time, fireman, and there was like flooding going on. And then I see this, and this is years later. This is just recently, a couple years ago. I see wisecrack glass. I'm like, hey man, like that's the guy who did my windshields, and I haven't talked to him for years. Yeah. And we're evacuating people. Like we're wading through in like dry suits to people's houses because the whole neighborhood's flooding in the wintertime. And so we're like, hey man, you don't have to go, but the water's rising. It's going to get here eventually, blah, blah, blah. It's up to you. We can get you on a boat out of here. So anyway, I see this wisecrack, right? And the dude answers the phone or the door, and we're telling him the whole deal. I'm like, hey, any chance your name's Eddie? He's all, it is. I'm like, hey man, do you remember me? You did my windshields and my 4Runner. He's like, oh yeah, like he remembered me too. You know, it's been years, so that was funny. Where was it going with all this? So yeah, I got rid of the 4Runner after that because I don't know. It's just the bodies don't flex very well. I love first gen. I want to get another. I want every like series of every Toyota, like we probably all do.
Yes, yes, we do.
But I think eventually I will get another first gen 4Runner. But at the time,
I do miss mine. They're such a great wheeling rig. I mean, you can take the top off if you want to save a little bit of weight there. You got a full back open to the back bed area, quote unquote, if you wanted. But they're lighter weight than the later gens coming out. And
the top comes off. You know? It's pretty sick. You know,
I want one too, but I won't admit it.
It's like
I was like, you want a 4Runner?
I want a first gen 4Runner. I want a later one though. I want one with IFS, and I want to make it long travel.
Okay, like a third gen, or what are you looking?
No, I want a first gen, an 86, first 86 through 89. I think is when they stopped. First gen 4Runner, but I want to make it long travel.
Okay,
yeah, all right, and go play with that.
And portals. All
Maybe.
this fun.
That could be fun. Yeah.
Okay.
I think with the advent of all the new like long travel, like stout IFS stuff,
Mhm.
I mean, you can do a lot now, you know,
Yeah.
with those IFS rigs.
Yeah.
Whereas before, back when the time frame I'm talking about, that shit wasn't really out. And if it was hell of expensive,
Right.
which it is expensive now.
Yeah.
But
Total
you know.
Chaos has been around for a long time, and they were doing stuff on the Forerunners back in the day, but it wasn't very, for where we live, wasn't a thing, right? Everybody wanted
Yeah.
a solid axle swap it and go to the rocks, where Southern California, they were like, oh, we need to go fast in the desert, you know? And so
Yeah.
they were doing the Total Chaos stuff.
right.
Mhm.
So that's how you met.
That's how we met Jensen.
Yeah.
And then the Forerunner, I had that. I was going to say something about the Forerunner. Oh, let's just do a time capsule on prices real quick.
Okay.
I bought that thing and it was already sassed. It was pretty clean. It had 33s on it, which is kind of the proportions. It had a stupid ass body lift on it, which was the first thing I took off it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But $3,000, single case. I don't recall if it was locked in the rear or not, but you know, it was clean built, $3,000 for clean ass Forerunner, right?
Right. Yeah.
Nowadays, dude, that thing be like, people would try
10
to
to
15.
15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, that has a single case in it, dude. You know,
Yeah.
I was just messaging a guy yesterday about a Forerunner I saw because a buddy of mine's looking for him. I'm like, hey, what? He's got all the shit done to it. He wants like 12.5. And I'm like, hey, what? It's locked in the front, big wheels, big tires. What shafts you got in there? Oh, they're stock. I'm like, I don't know if it's necessarily worth 12.5, you know? Like, and I'm sure I don't know. Anyways.
Probably got it.
Yeah, you probably got it. Yeah.
Getting sidetracked. So, but I
So
bought
we
it for
do on
$3,000.
podcasts.
And then, I wheeled the crap out of it, did a body swap on it, but I did some stuff to it. I put a locker in the rear. It still was a single case, just a functional sassed Forerunner, It was sick. I was trying to get $3,000 for it when I went to sell it. I had a guy, total douchebag, tries to, lowball me on this thing.
Yeah.
And, they're like sizing up. He had his buddy right in the back. I was by myself and he was driving it and he was like, this thing has a Detroit in it. I'm all, yeah. And he goes and tries to like get it. He's doing some weird shit.
Yeah.
He's trying to get it to like, he's putting it on this like light pole, in the parking lot at the mall, and he's like, yeah, I don't know if this has a Detroit. Phil has Detroit in there, Johnny. He's like, yeah, I don't think so. I'm like, fuck you guys. So I'm like, whatever, dude. And then he's like fucking revving the fuck out of it when he's driving it. I'm like, dude, this fucking douchebag. Like, you don't treat somebody's shit like that.
Yeah.
Right? So we go back.
People who shop for used cars and do that to, especially I had a few people do that to cars I've tried to sell in the past. I'm just like, yeah, get out of here, dude. You almost ran over my dog doing that. Like, get the fuck out. Like, I don't even want to get you this vehicle now. I'm not selling it to you. Yeah.
I don't like you.
Yeah.
I just don't like you. So you're not gonna, I'm not gonna sell it to you. Then we get back and it's like wheel and deal time. He's like, well, would you take this? And he wanted he was trying to give me like $2,200 for it. I already got it for $3,000, which at the time was fair. I mean, it would probably be like 4 or 5 so you could sell it for with how clean it was and shit. And I'm like, no, man, somebody will come, he's like, well, he needs this, he's coming up with all this list of shit.
Sure.
He's trying to play me. All right.
Yep.
I'm like, hey, no worries, man. Somebody come along and buy it.
Your blinker fluid is low.
I call his bluff. He goes back and looks at it. He's like, fuck. I'm like, I can't do it. I'm like, all right, man, somebody will come along.
Yep.
Well, the next guy comes along. He meets me at the bike shop. I take a break and I go drive around with him. He's like stoked on everything. He's like, oh yeah, dude. Oh fuck yeah. Oh fuck yeah. He's like, so $3,000, right? I'm all, yeah. He's like, here you go. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude.
There you go.
Oh, crazy story about that. So I was snow wheeling with my buddies. Because at the time I lived down in Pleasant Hill and shit. We would go up to like Slide Park, Pollock Pines, and just go where the road like they stopped plowing and just go snow wheeling out there.
Yep.
Okay.
And I knew I sold it to a guy like in the Sacramento area. That's where the guy was that I sold it to.
Mm-hmm.
So we're out wheeling, whatever, and we're having a good time. And then we hear these rigs coming up, and I just had this weird like feeling. I was like, I wonder if my Forerunner's in this group. Dude, kid you not, fucking Forerunner comes rolling up.
Nice.
And all the people and all the rigs and all, it's like, I'm like, hey, what's up, dude? He's like, oh, I fucking love this thing. Like, that was crazy.
That's
just little
awesome.
shit like that. Yeah. We didn't see anybody else really. It was just like this one group of dudes. Like,
That's funny.
Yeah. Wow.
That's it goes, I don't know. For me, like, it's hitting on the point of you just felt something was off with that first dude, right?
Yeah.
The tire kicker, etc. Like I've come to the point in my life where I'm like, I want to hear fuck yes energy when I'm asking people if they want to go do something, if they want a vehicle, whatever I'm trying to talk to people about. I want to hear fuck yes energy. If I hear any hesitation, I'm like, all right, you're not into it, I'll go to somebody else.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, and that's kind of like that reminds me of just look for fuck yes energy. And if you're not into it and you don't have that kind of energy, then that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Somebody else will.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Surround yourself with the people you want to be around.
Exactly.
And have that, emanate that same energy, you know?
Exactly.
And sell shit to people with the same energy. Because then you might run into them on the trail later.
Right? Yeah, for
and
sure.
it'll be cool to see. Instead of fucking, if I sold that ass, I'll be like, hey, fuck you. You know?
Yeah, right.
And that's my forerunner. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, not to get back on track, I guess. So I had that, I sold it, right? And then I bought an extra cab 85 off a friend of mine. I was like, it's going to be a little bit lower center of gravity, all that stuff. So I wheeled the shit out of that for a while. I did some stuff to it. And then I actually, because going back to the conduciveness in my life at the time, I was like, this ain't conducive. However, I was on my way up to the Fordyce one time, and I just was over at a friend's house, and his roommate had a Civic, right? And I'm like, oh, dude, like how you want to sell that Civic? He's like, well, maybe, you know, it didn't like pass smog or something. He thought it needed a catalytic converter or something. So long story short with that, you know, I talked to him about it. He's like, oh, I'll keep you in the loop. So I'm driving up with my truck on a trailer to Fordyce for a trip. And I get a call from that guy. Hey, you still want to buy my Civic? I'm like, fuck yeah, I do. So then that trip got way better because I'm like, if I break this fucking thing, like,
it's all good.
So I got back and all I needed was O2 sensor. So I paid $800 for that. O2 sensor, and I always like change all the fluids, do a tune up on all my vehicles when I get them. So and registration was like $1,200 total, and I drew. That's still to this day probably one of the best things I ever bought for myself. Best Civic I've had for sure. No power. It was a '94, no power anything. 40 miles a gallon, easy. I drove that shit up
those
and
are
down
the cars, man. The mid '90s to early 2000 Civics. They were like the Toyota 2RE of the Toyota world. You can't kill them, man. They did great.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. I missed that thing. I blew the head gasket and then I ended up selling it to some dude. I was just like, you know, because I had it for years, you know, drove the shit out of it. And the head gasket blew, overheated, and then I posted it for sale and I sold some kid that lived up in Reading. I was in Chico at times like, you think it's going to make it back? I'm like, honestly, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. You know, it's $500.
Yeah.
You know? And so he drives it back and I was like, hey man, how'd it go? You know, it overheated. All his old no. I'm like, fuck, I should have kept that fucking thing, you know, like, because the heater core went out, which I failed to recognize, which was the cause. It was like, what caused it? It happens, but what caused it, right? Sure. So that was the cause. I could have fixed that and I could have just put a new head gasket on and been fine. I probably drove another 300,000 miles, you know, on top of the 300 it already had. But anyway, so I had that extra cab pickup. And then, wasn't even then, it's just like, I wasn't making a lot of money. And the sport kind of costs a lot of money, whether you're recreationally doing it or
pay to play.
You know, competitively doing it.
Yeah.
My job at the bike shop, I mean, dude, I was going to community college and all this shit and just didn't have a lot of money, you know, and I'm trying to like buy this stuff, you know, and it's just not, you know, high school shortly after you're trying to keep the shit box together.
Yeah.
Right? It's just the shit. Nobody had winches, right? And that's the joke we make about now. It's like, hey, we're all grown up. We all have winches now.
I put mine on for the first time 2 years ago.
You got rope on it, right?
Yeah.
And a joke about my buddies, the bocces, they're like, yeah, we got all these worn winches and stuff and blah, blah, blah. Well, we go out pre-run and they don't even have, you know, like, they don't have a winch on their thing. And then they don't even have freaking rope on the one. And we got to get the rig over. Like, dude, like Jensen had his winch. Like, it's just funny. I love you guys, but I had to, you know, 'cause you guys always talk about all these winches you got, but you don't ever have rope on them. So, But, so I ended up selling my rig and I was like, you know what? I'm going to sell my rig. I'm kind of like a redneck hippie metalhead. I was in a pretty big hippie stage back then. And I was like, you know, I want to go, Thai food's my favorite food. And one of the big driving factors, I was like, I'm going to go to Thailand. So I sold my truck and then went to Thailand for 3 months. No plan. I was just like, I'm going to go to Thailand for 3 months and just, you know.
I admire people that can do that, dude. That's crazy.
And then, so I did that renewing experience. And my goal is when I came back from that was when I start the fire classes and all that stuff. So, and it's rest is history. I hit the ground running when I got back and here I am, you know.
Was there something that happened in Thailand that you were like, I want to get into fire? Or was that kind of before and then the trip to Thailand was just like, all right, I need to get this stuff together now?
It was, I already made that determination beforehand.
Okay.
Got it.
The determination was actually that I made it was the night that I rolled the Forerunner after doing the body swap.
Okay.
I was sitting pissed off and fucking whatever emotions I had going on, sitting watching my buddy Ricky all stuck in these trees down below. And I was talking to my buddy Chris and he had started the process, you know, going to EMT school, taking the classes and all. It's something I always wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then I also hurt my knee back in the day riding BMX. So I was kind of discounted my physical ability, but I was just making excuses to myself for doing something more for myself. Right.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't know if I could do it because I'm going to hurt my knee. I'm like, shut the fuck up. It's kind of where I got to myself, but he was, I was picking his brain sitting on the hillside, looking down there, at Ricky, and just, we were talking about aliens and shit. And then talking about where he was at with his, his schooling and stuff. So yeah, that was it. I was like, I think I'm going to do that. I didn't realize like you just go to the community college, take the classes, right? There's so many different ways to get into it, right? Like as far as learning how to get into it. And that was kind of like my exposure was like, and I had a few other buddies, just kind of in that same stage, right? Just taking the fire science classes, doing the EMT, preparing themselves to go to the academy. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do that. So I continued wheeling that rig for a while. But I had the goal. I was like, you know what? I'm going to sell this rig and I'm going to hit the reset button. I'm just going to get this experience out of my way. And then when I come back, hit the ground run and do this shit. So that was kind of how that happened.
Did you go to the Full Moon Festival?
I did. That was one of the first things I did when I got there. Yeah. I met a guy off the plane and I had no plan. And he's like, oh, I'm going to go down to Full Moon Festival, blah, blah, blah. I was like, because I was going to start in the north first and then go down to the south. I was like, well, fuck it. I might as well go too. Yeah. So we went down there and it was cool. It was quite an experience. It was an interesting experience.
I haven't done it. I just know of it.
Yeah, I'd say if you get the chance, I mean, check it out. Thailand is cool, man. I haven't been there since 2010, but like, it's a great place. Yeah. Super easy to travel. Everything's pretty cheap,
That's a part of the world I haven't experienced for the most part at all. So that's definitely a bucket list item.
Yeah. If you get the chance, I mean, I want to go back, but then a part of me is like, well, if I'm going to go travel somewhere, I should go somewhere I haven't been yet, But I made some friends there. It'd be cool to like link up with them after all these years, like, so my goal there, it was like, I want to experience the culture. So there's like these, and people will just travel. They do like the loop. They go to Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, Vietnam and shit. I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. Maybe I'll do that. Then like, I don't like to be cliche about things and like so typical. So like, I was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to stay in Thailand the whole damn time. But I had to cross the border at one point to get my visa restamped. Oh, right. Okay. So I was able to get extension before I went for 2 months. And then I had to cross it 2 months into Burma, Myanmar. Yeah. Which was a very interesting, unwelcoming experience, very militaristic. They're like, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, I'm like, I just need the stamp. Just stamp it,
Just stamp it. I don't even
and then they charge me money. Like, I'm like, I can whatever, it was cool. I'd stay in one place for like a week to 2 weeks and then like hang out with the people. I was kind of like a normal person there for a little bit. And then I go to the next place and the next place. Right.
That's rad.
But yeah. So when I got back from that,
what is your favorite thing about the culture of Thai?
Dude,
Thai
everything's just,
over there.
Everyone's super like nice and respectful.
Okay. Yeah. I can see
and
that.
like the dial, it was kind of nice coming back with a new perspective. Like everything's just slow there. Like everyone's like, Westerners go over there, like the bus is running late. Yeah. And you're like, where's this bus, man? I'm supposed to be here 20 minutes. Like, that's okay. No problem. No problem. And then so you learn like, hey man, we're just conditioned to think that there's all these problems, like all this urgency, right? And everyone's like right now I've been like, for some reason I've had crazy road rage lately. You know, and I'm a driver at work and I'm like, get the fuck out of the way. Like, you idiots, I'm like, I need to slow down. Like, I need to remind myself, of these things. And she's like, hey man, it's okay. Like, it's fine. Right. Yeah. But that was it. I mean, I think just like how relaxed they are. And then also you see these people, they're happy, right? With nothing. Yeah. Right. I mean, it's a pretty, it's not a third world country, right? But you have your areas that are more rural where it's just, they're living off basic amenities, right? And they're totally happy with it, right? So I think that was one of my favorite
Happiness
things.
is more of a mindset than what the fuck you got.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah. So you came home.
Did the fire stuff. Went back to work in the bike shop a little bit, and then the fire classes. Went to the Butte Fire Academy. Came back from that. Got a job. I started with Marin County. And so this kind of ties into wheeling. Is my like reward to myself for getting my first fire job was I bought my 1993 Toyota Extra Cab pickup with a 22 RE, which is hard to find.
A 93,
hard to find with the extra because you can find the standard cabs with them, all day, not all day, but like a lot more common than the extra cabs because the V6 is the extra cabs. I'm like, I don't want that piece of shit. So I found it again with pricing. I found it in Nevada City. I talked to the guy. He's like, well, I got some other dude that's interested. He had it listed for like $3,800. I'm like, all right, well, I'm coming there today. So I had my buddy drove up with me in the Honda Civic, and I was like, I'm going to buy this thing. So I go there, and it's the first and only thing I feel like I've ever purchased off like a Craigslist or marketplace deal that I paid more for than I showed up with. It was a whole ordeal, long story, but it was like the vehicle wasn't smogged. He had this other guy that interested in it. And
was there actually another guy interested in it?
I think there was.
Okay.
I think legitimately there was, because he kind of had this weird like, I just showed up. I'm like, hey man, like he told me where. I'm like, hey, I'm on my way, blah, 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 blah. He's like, all right, well, this other guy, I'm like, I don't care. I'm coming. Talk is cheap, right? We all know talk is cheap, right?
Yep. Especially when it comes to marketplace.
Yeah. So I showed up, and long story short, his car was in the shop, and, between the wife and him, like, need a vehicle. That was the vehicle until the car's back, blah, 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 blah. So he's like hesitant on selling it to me. I'm like, so we finally come up with the deal. Right. And this has been like, dude, we've been doing this. I've been in town with him, cruising around, like going to the bank, whatever, for like 2 hours. We're finally doing the paperwork. And I'm like, you have the smog certificate? He's like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, it's technically you're supposed to smog it.
Yeah.
Like, any chance you do that, whatever. And I hear his wife say something catty in the background, like, tell him to fucking piss off or whatever. And I'm all, fuck it. Just take, anyways, I ended up giving like $100 more. So he would sell it to me that day. And I just was like, fuck it, I'll handle the smog. Right. Because that was kind of a unicorn truck and clean as fuck. Right. Clean as fuck. I look back at pictures, even when I first built it and sassed it and shit, I'm like, fuck, what did I do to that thing? Like, it's pretty hammered now. But so I got that truck with the anticipation of building it in the future. Okay. Right. So I was going to stack some parts, I got some things, and, but I wanted to get to like a good point in life where, I'm not like at grandma's house, which I wasn't. I was renting. No, I was at grandma's house when I bought it. I was still at grandma's house. I had my Civic and I had that. But so then I ended up moving out. I'm living in a rental with a couple of my fire buddies up in Chico when I started working up there in Butte County. And I still just drove that thing around, whatever. And, but I was like, I don't want to start building this thing until like I have like real estate myself. Right. Okay. So I ended up buying a house in like I got the keys like fucking January 1st, we'll say, of 2017. And first priority is set in my music room. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to start cracking on this Toyota, cause like now it's like I pay a mortgage. It's like, well, as long as I pay my mortgage, I have that. I've earned that for myself. Yep. Now I can start building this Toyota. Yeah. Right. So, which also brings me back to Jensen. So he had moved up there. I had sold my truck. See, it's all coming full circle.
Yeah, it is.
Right? Yeah. So we had hung out a bunch back in the day, wheeling. Then he moved up there with his wife. They weren't married at the time, didn't have any kids, but he was going to welding school. He, he's pipeline welder. So he was doing the welding program up there, blah, blah, blah. And he was working. And so we kind of like lost contact a bit. Like we'd like say what's up every now and then to each other. Yeah. Okay. But so I'd lived in Chico probably 4 years. Yeah, maybe 3 or 4 years already. I'm like, oh shit. And it re-inspired me to like think of certain people. Like, oh dude, I'm building this truck. I'm like, oh shit, Jensen lives up here. See if he wants to come over, Yeah. So I start working on that thing. He comes over and I'm like, and that's how we reconnected there. Okay. And then started hanging out. He just lived right up the hill in Paradise, like less, 15 minutes from each other. Right? Yeah. So I bring him out on one of my first wheeling trips in that thing after I did the sass and stuff. I was like, yeah, this thing's sick. Like, let's go. I went up some of my buddies that I met through work up there, and I take Jensen with me. We go up to the High Lakes and go wheeling one night. And,
which axle did you put under it?
It's just a Toyota axle.
Mini truck axle?
Just, my plan for that was I just wanted a sick camping rig, like had all starts, right? I was like, I'm just going to lock the rear end, single case, 35s. No, well,
gateway drug. I guess the gateway drug, dude.
Yeah. So that's how I got back into wheeling. And this was, I took a break, and I think it was a nice break. It allowed me to get a little more financially stable and a better place in my life to where it actually fit. Yeah. Right. It just didn't fit before. Yeah, right. Sure. Now it fits. Yeah. Right. So yeah, I wheeled the green machine. I still have that. Yeah, the green machine. Yeah. I just put a full underground kit on it.
Oh, sweet.
Okay. One of the first podcasts I listened to you guys was when you had Brian on. Yeah. It was when I was doing it. I was like, oh, you guys just put it out. And I'm like, dude, this is perfect timing, dude. It was, it was great. Because he's like, just slow down. Just slow down. Anytime you're doing this stuff, he talked about his whole approach to everything. And I'm like, yeah, this couldn't be better, nice. Better time, So it took me a while to do that project just because of, it takes a while to do anyways, but trying to balance time between, keeping the race truck, together and all that stuff and having it ready, and then a relationship and all the other stuff, work and everything. It's just it kind of
how that goes, Jimmy.
I know how that goes.
So, but I finally concluded it last. Oh my God, concluded that project essentially last summer. So,
and that project was just the 4-wheel underground suspension, or did you do new axles and everything too?
I did a second gen Tacoma with axle.
Okay, yeah, those are sweet.
So I did that. So 8.4 diffs, and then I had Diamond. I got an axle from Diamond for the same width for the front.
Nice. Okay.
Which I actually bought before. I just knew I was going to. I was like, material prices are going up, so I bought that axle like years ago. Which I'm glad because Brian over there makes great stuff.
Yep.
Just unfortunately, I've noticed in all this and other aspects of life is like you kind of got to be patient for quality.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Or a deal.
Yep.
Right. It doesn't matter. And then if you're getting both, you definitely got to be patient. Right. But like I noticed the guys that offer quality, people are going to them, so they're super busy, right? And they also suck at communicating, right? And it's because they're busy and they're
busy building the shit. Yeah.
And unfortunately, those smaller operations, like they only have so much bandwidth and time themselves to do things.
Yep.
So I get it, right?
Yeah.
It's like same thing with Jim Putney at 22-Hour Raceworks.
Yeah.
Right. Like great dude. He's just so busy all the time. He's just running every time. I'm fortunate to live right there with him. He's a sponsor of mine. But every time I go down to see him, he's just running around, head with his chicken cut off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this guy needs some help. So I've brainstormed like guys that can go help him over time. Right.
Yeah.
But great quality, right? Brian at Front Range Diamond, great quality.
Yep.
It's just, they're just so in their world. Right.
Yep. I've got 2 Diamond axles, the 10.5-inch housings under my 4Runner here in the warehouse.
Nice.
And I had to wait 7-8 months.
Yeah.
To get those 2 housings from Ellinger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I bought that axle and it just was like, I'll buy it. It'll show up whenever it shows up. Right. And I didn't know the lead time on it. I was just like, well, I'll just buy it. Whatever. And then it sat there in my garage for a while. And then, Brian over at 4 Underground, I was talking to, and I got the 4, so it all kind of came to fruition. So I put those axles underneath it and then did the link system. And then with how the 4-wheel underground kit, goes on, the setup he has, it kind of replaces the cross member.
Yep.
Yeah. Bolting locations.
Yep.
So I had to that was just like the biggest pain for me.
It's
just as far as the project goes, it was the most time consuming, required the most work and design. Was trying to figure out how to hang my cases. Right.
I think that says a lot actually about 4-wheel underground's kits, that redoing kind of your cross member bolts and location was the hardest part of the project.
Yeah.
So
I came up with a similar skid to kind of what was there. It's just I drilled, where did I from the side or the bottom? I think from the side. I drilled holes, welded some nuts in there.
Yep.
And then, bolted from this. I just came up with something, but that was the most just bang my head on because then I was also raising them too. I had to raise the engine so I didn't, rip my slave cylinder off and then, all the other stuff. Yep. It's all the stuff that comes downstream. Yeah. It's just time consuming, on top of having another rig to maintain a race and all that stuff. And then life. Right. So it just took a while. And actually when I moved to my new place, I scored the dream property. I just got lucky. I'm super fortunate. I got a huge shop. I basically bought a shop that came with a house.
I was gonna say, is your shop bigger than the house?
Yeah.
You did it right.
200 square feet versus 1,300. So, the guy's a heavy equipment operator and drove big rigs and shit that I bought, and he set up the property accordingly. And that was the house is the reason I got a great deal on it is because he didn't care about the house.
He cared about the shop.
It was it wasn't finished. He started building in the 90s and it didn't have any trim work done. It's just nothing was done. Sheetrock work was done, but wasn't one room wasn't even done, finished, so that it still had plywood stairs, plywood floors upstairs. But so it worked to my benefit for numerous reasons because it couldn't be financed, because it couldn't be appraised, by a loan. So so anyways, it just worked out perfect. I had to get creative with my finances to figure out how to make it happen, but fortunately I made it happen and all that stuff. So, but the property's badass.
Yeah.
And the shop is super badass. Like I said, very fortunate. I'm just, I wake up in the morning, sit, drink coffee. It's in the evening, sit outside the shop, just, hanging out.
Are you up in the hills too? With more property
Lower Paradise.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right, it's before you get into
Gorgeous
town. So
area,
it's
man.
super quiet.
Yeah, I love those areas up there.
I just remind myself, like when I'm sitting out there, like, man, this is great. Like I've got the life, you know, that like people would fucking kill for it, you know, and I just have to remind myself that we have to remind ourselves to be grateful for what we have, you know. And, I got multiple rigs, this house, you know, but it's come from hard work. Like, you know, I put my head down in my career to just to work hard and be successful, you know. So I mean, I think if you work hard, no matter what you do, you can you know, achieve your goals, whatever you set out.
Absolutely.
So it's my public service announcement for
Perfect.
today.
I like it.
So when did the race truck come about?
Okay, so you mentioned Justin Reese earlier. I need to go back and listen. I didn't realize I need to go search that because
that was early on.
We
did that a while ago.
Yeah, so I guarantee, actually, I would not be sitting here if it wasn't for Justin Reese and the 104619.
Okay.
Yeah, because the green truck in 2018, right after the campfire, actually, we're snow wheeling, and I was like in a ditch getting rowdy, and I broke my trail gear leaf springs. One of my rear leaf springs. Fortunately, it broke in a way to where like the shackle went inwards and it hung out in the slide, like on the bracket.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was able to drive home.
Okay.
I still wheeled a little bit and it was holding together and I drove home, but I was like, all right, what am I going to do with this thing? So I cut everything off and I stared at a bare frame. I took the bed off for like 2 weeks trying to figure out what I was going to do. I was like, do I link it? Well, if I link it, you know, I'm going to have to move the gas tank. Because at the time, 4 Underground didn't have the rear 3-link. If they did, I probably would have linked the rear end. Yeah. So they only had the 4-link, right? So I'm like, well, if I 4-link the rear, I'm gonna have to move the gas tank, but you know, I want to preserve my bed. I could have moved it. I could have put it in the, you know, to where it protrudes into the toolbox to hide it. I'm like, dude, the reason I have my bed, I don't cut through my bed on the race truck. I can't to run shock travel. But on my green truck, I haven't cut through the bed or anything because I like the functionality of a bed.
You like using a bed. Exactly.
I haven't bobbed it. I haven't done any of that shit because I like having the bed.
Yeah.
It serves a purpose, right?
Yeah.
As it is, I can hardly fit, you know, the fucking ice chest with all the beer and, you know, everything I want in it. So,
you sound just like Jimmy right now.
So, yeah. So anyways, I was researching the suspension shit and I came up with, I was like, and my buddy I was working with at the time, like got me into like off-road performance stuff. Which for me at the time, what that meant was like good leaf springs and some good shocks.
Yeah.
Right.
Some Bilstein 5100s in there.
So I have a Fox 2.0 the bypasses on the back.
Okay.
I got some of those and I got Sky springs. So I was researching springs. I'm like, dude, I think I'm going to, whoa. I looked at Sky. I was looking up Toyota springs.
They make some good stuff.
And I'm like, wait a minute. And I see, you know, pull up Sky's website and the fucking, you see Toyota, you know, the 4619 and Justin Reese all over the side. I'm like, whoa. There's a guy that races one because I was already thinking this shit because I like the way I had my green truck configured. It kind of had like this like pre-runner look with like the tire and the holder in the back. And I was like, yeah, I should race this thing. Like, yeah, I didn't know shit at the time of like how to do that. But so I was like, wait a minute, there's a guy racing a Toyota out there. How come I haven't fucking known about this? Like, okay, so sick. So I'm like, I'm going to buy these springs. And so I bought the springs, put them on the rig. And I'm like sold on those springs, which Skies is one of my sponsors too.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yeah, Justin, when we had him on, we were talking something about your rig.
My truck,
your truck, and Justin was like, "Dude, stop fucking around with all that. Just get some Sky springs. Yeah. You're gonna love it." And
all these people mess with all this stuff, you know. On like I see in these groups on Facebook and stuff, and I'm like, "Hey, just do this, do this." Well, you know, I'm like, "Hey, man, that's the only." Or anybody mentions like just yesterday, somebody was like, "Oh, it's you know, I got the Sky 3F springs." I'm like, "The only spring to have," you know.
Yeah,
that's like always my thing. I'm like, "That's the only spring to run." Right? Yeah, I mean, 63s is cool, budget way to do rear suspension, but if you want like legit good springs, like dude, Skies is the way to go, man. They're designed for a Toyota to race.
Yeah.
They're super good.
Yeah.
Like great. They're great, you know? And so I was sold on those springs.
For those trucks to make it through King of the Hammers, the courses that Dave comes up with for KOH, and for the leaf springs to be like the worst or the least of your worries going through those courses, that says a lot in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because those go through a lot of different terrain, a lot of different situations. And it seems like the Sky springs are like the things that you guys never have issues with.
Yeah. I mean, I've broken a couple, and I know Justin has too, but dude, it's the abuse they go through. They're not going to break for anybody as long as I'm a huge proponent of like leaf springs, you know, leaf springs party harder. Right. But I mean, you set them up right. Set them up right, set your bumps correct in a certain way. You put good shocks on them. They feel pretty good. Like people riding my even my green truck when I had it, before I linked the front, I had leaf springs in the front, decent shocks, and I didn't have skies. I did have skies in the front at one point. But anyways, they're like, man, this actually feels pretty good for a leaf spring. I'm like, yeah, dude, you just set it up right with like good shit. It feels good. It's still a leaf sprung Toyota. So mobbing it through the desert still is pretty brutal. At the KOH desert it's fucking brutal. Yeah. Like, so we just did Vegas to Reno, and dude, that course was fast, smooth, hauling ass. Engine was just rebuilt by Jim, and dude, I don't know if we were mobbing. I think we probably hit the fastest I saw when I looked down, because I track on my phone. I have the same lead nav shit as the Navigator. And I was like, whoa, we're in the 60s? Holy shit, we're just fucking hauling ass. So 67 was the fastest I saw, but we could have been, anywhere maybe a little bit above that, which for that rig is pretty fast. And so, I mean, the desert at KOH is super brutal. Yeah. It's just, so like our average speed is like 25 to 35 miles an hour. Yeah. And it's just because it's rough,
watching it's just always, I love going out and either working at the pits out in remote pit 2 or being on the exit from town, essentially hanging out in that area in pit 1 and watching the Ultra 4 cars come through, and then watching like the 4800 cars come through, and then watch the 4600 cars come through, and watching the Toyota mini truck. So I think I watched you come through one year and Justin come through one year on the exit from town. There's just a little section of whoops that's 500 feet, 600 feet long. And so all the cars come ripping out of there, and then here comes the little Toyotas, and you just see the whole rig going up.
Man,
and
it's like that section that you're talking about right out of Hammertown going towards Turkey Claw. That's probably the worst section of the whole damn course. Whether you're going one way or the other, it's just fucking terrible.
I believe that for sure.
Oh man, it's fun to watch.
So speaking of that, like, it's so easy all this shit leaks together. So Justin Reese, I found the leaf springs for the green truck, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, this guy races. So I went to KOH that year, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to fucking race this shit. Yeah. So I figured out, I was like,
what year was that?
This year I decided to race with, I think 2020 or 19.
Okay.
19, 20. So I can't remember, somewhere around
Was
there.
that your first trip down to KOH?
No, I'd gone the years before, like 18 or 19.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's all fucking blur.
So
but it was 2020 was when I decided that I was going to build something to race.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Right? It's because, because I'd found the springs. I put the springs on the other truck in 18. So it was either 19 or 20, whatever, one of those. But so I was like, I came back from that trip. I was like, I'm going to build something. I'm going to build a fucking Toyota to race this shit. Yeah. So I found a platform, right? I found an 85. My idea was like, oh, I could build something for $7-8 grand. Fucking yeah. Good luck, right? Yeah. Because if you're going to do it, I'm a huge proponent. If you're going to do it right. Do it right. My original plan was just, I wanted a fucking beater smack. Because at the time I was trying to keep the green truck like relatively okay, right? Not beat it up. I was like, I just want a rig to smash. Yeah. Right? So I'll buy this, this rig and, just build it to race, but then you start like the snowball grows, right? You're like, okay, well, I'm going to do this. I got to do that. I'm going to do this. It's how it always goes, right? So, I started building that 2020, and unfortunately that was when all the COVID shit was going on. So Sky Springs, back to them, they didn't have any springs. And then that's the only spring I wanted to run. So that's kind of how I developed my relationship with them, because I kept beating on their door. I'm like, hey, you got any springs? Hey, you got any springs? These are the only springs I'm going to run. These are the only, I got them on my other truck. So I was able to get some fronts. Okay. But when it came to rears, the rig already had 63s. I'm like, I don't want to fucking run these, but if I have to, I guess I will. Already there. So just because their shit's made in US, and then they're made by a company that does manufacture for the big three, the Ford, GM, Dodge. Okay. So with that, supply chain issues, all that bullshit we had to deal with, Skies was the little guy off to the side. So they would get a shipment every now, like they finally would get one, and it's like very limited. Yeah. So, but at that time, you don't know really when you're getting your shipments in, what's coming in of what you ordered, what's getting delivered. Dude, like I think something's showing up today. I'll let you know. Right. So I was just on standby, and then that's how I got the front. Say, hey, we just got a pallet of fronts. I get you some fronts. So I got some fronts. And then, I kept beating on the door. Hey, how about those years? Because the dates, they give me dates, and I check it. Nothing. Yeah. Well, there was a fire in Oregon at the time, and unfortunately, it burned down somebody's rig and property that Sky was going to do a build for. He's like, hey man, a buddy of mine or a customer of mine, unfortunately lost their stuff. I don't know what his plan is, if he's still going to build his rig, but I got a pallet of parts for him. And the springs are sitting there. Yeah. I could talk to him, see what his plans are. So guy, unfortunately, wasn't going to be doing anything with them. No. So that's how I got the rears. I was like, yes. So I, unfortunately, like due to somebody else's misfortune, unfortunately, I was able to get these rears.
Yeah.
So I got the rears and set them up.
And do you run their springs just as they ship, or do you pull a leaf, or do you change anything with them?
Just as they ship until the new, they started doing like a lift on them, putting like another, so I put fresh springs on last year before KOH.
Okay.
So I got a fresh set front and rear from them. And so what the hell? So I just remember the rear was up high. And so I did some investigative work, took some measurements, all that stuff. And I realized they added a leaf to them. So I took the leaf and I lowered I put a shorter shackle on it, which brought it back down to where I wanted it, So I started, I basically, like I said, go back around. I got into this shit because I was inspired. Just ate a race. I like just being competitive, very competitive person. And I'm like, I'm driving off road. I like driving fast. I drive like a jackass, right? Within reason, out on the trail. And, I discovered Justin Reese and figured, hey, I might as well do the same thing. So he
can do it. I can do it. Yeah.
Great dude. Like, I reached out to him. And, you got to feel each other out. I think he felt me out for quite a while. But he was a super help all the time. Like I'd be texting him all the time. Like, hey man, would you do this? He'd send me pictures and like in the build process. Cause the hardest part about building a rig especially in the 4600 class is meeting all the class rules and the safety rules. Big thing was like the cage specs. I'd hate to do all this work.
Yeah.
And then have something not pass the tech and have to with the cage and shit. So I did my cage out of 2-inch because I was like, I'd hate to come in a pound over and have them be like, oh, sorry, dude. And plus you arguably safer and all that shit. But yeah, just
still 120 wall, 2-inch 120 wall.
120, yeah. And then the other bracing is 1.75 inch, 120 and stuff. But the main tubes have, depending on what tier you're
level
going
you're
for.
In, yeah.
So the main tubes are 2-inch. Then all like the cross bracing and stuff is 1.75 inch.
Cool. Yep.
Whatnot. So, but yeah, he's kind of what that 4619 pickup is kind of what paved the way for me. So I'm buddies with them now. I'm actually going wheeling with them. They're doing a Rubicon trip here at the end of summer.
Sweet.
When? At the end of summer?
Yeah.
Where's our invite, Justin?
Yeah, Justin.
It's not my trip to invite people, so I'm not going to say it publicly. But if you guys know him, just reach out to him. Okay. Maybe you can go.
Just might happen to be out on the Rubicon that weekend randomly.
So I'll be going out there with those guys. Super cool. So when I'd stop by their camp, his crew, that maybe they know me, but the guys that don't, they're like, oh yeah, man, this thing's sick. Yeah, because they're stoked on the Toyota.
Sure.
He's not necessarily racing anymore, but it's obviously like his roots, and they're like, oh yeah, dude. I'm like, hey, don't look too close. It's kind of a ripoff,
Yeah.
But it works. I mean, that's the thing is like, don't change something that works, right? I've done my own flavor on it, but it's like, when it comes down to it, it's still a shitbox 85 Toyota pickup.
Yeah.
Why change the formula that somebody else who is highly successful is doing? Why would you change it? Right.
Sure. I mean, there's not a whole lot of ways you can change it in the 4600 class anyways.
Right. You got to meet the rules. Like I said, the specs for the class and the rule book for the class rules.
Yep.
So, I mean, there is only so much you can do. Like you can only stretch or shrink your wheelbase by, I think, like 3 inches, stuff like that.
Monotube shocks.
Yeah. No position sensitive shocks, 2.5 inch body max, 14 inch travel max. So I actually run 12s.
Wow.
Because I mean, going back to suspension and leaf springs, like people think putting a long travel shock, I'm going to put these 16s on. Well, you're not getting 16 inches of travel.
Nope.
Right. So take the leaf packs apart, measure what your full compression, where you're going to bump it out and where it fully droops out. And then also at articulation at those two. And that's how you figure out.
Match your shocks to those.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So before you buy shocks, figure out how much travel you have to fit. So I actually run the front shocks off the back of the axle just to be able to, because we can't cut through the wheel well, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So, and then when you get like 2.5 inch bodies, the body's bigger, so the shock's just bigger, right? Yep. So, I mean, I could probably fit 14s or even 16s, I don't know about 16s with like just a regular Bilstein or something, right? But when you get those big shocks, like they're just bigger. So I run off the back of the axle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're 12s. And the same thing under the bed. They're 12s and they're kicked back, you know?
Yep.
And everyone does this triangulation shit. Like shocks are designed to work in a as linear as possible.
Yep.
So mine, if you look at both my trucks, they're kicked off the back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean they're still kicked back, but it actually is in the travel of because the
axle moved backwards.
The shackle goes back.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So
okay.
What
else have you done to the truck?
Oh man. So
is there any like cool, tricky like things that you like to show off when people are standing around it?
Showing off, you know.
What are some of the R&D stuff that you've done to it that you're like, this is pretty cool. Here's what I did to solve this problem, kind of thing.
Yeah. So the first KOH we raced, we were at like mile 25. And I'm watching the temperature gauge go up, and I'm like, this thing, so I can. I'm like, just pushing it because you're racing. Then the engine shuts off. We're like, oh fuck! I'm like, this is how it ends already. You know?
Yeah.
It's actually a good story. I'll try to keep it short, but so there was nothing guarding my radiator in the front. Okay. So either a rig went by us, like some 4800 that got back in service, came by us and roosted us with some rocks, which is very common in our. They're like, oh, we're back in the game, we got to catch up, and they, wow, you know,
yeah.
So or it was just so rough, you know, I was bushwhacked. I was like out of the ruts and might have. Anyway, something punctured my radiator. So we're dead in the water, like fuck. So we're like trying to pinch it and do all this shit. Long story short, we were on the radio trying to make contact with some folks, and like my buddy Perry Foreman, he got on the phone with me. He's like, dude, you got to fucking keep whatever you got to do, keep fucking going. And like, cause we were kind of like, fuck, man, you know. He's like, it's racing, dude. Keep pushing, whatever you got to do, right? Then my buddy,
especially at KOH, it's kind of like you MacGyver and put shit together to continue going.
Drive that shit into the fucking ground. Who gives a shit? You know, you're fucking racing, right? We won't get sidebarred on that, but so my other buddy heard us on the radio, and he calls me. We were also fortunate to where we were had service. I was like, "Whoa, we actually have service!" So we started making calls, and he's like,
"You broke down your cell phone bush?"
You know, I'm like, so I tell him what's up. I'm like, "Oh, we overheated. We got a hole in there." He's like, "You got Copenhagen?" I don't chew Copenhagen anymore, but Jensen does. So I'm like, "Hey, Jensen, you got Copenhagen?" He's all, "Yeah." I'm all, shove that shit in the radiator, because that's what my buddy was telling me. He's like, hey, put it in the radiator. So we shoved Copenhagen in the radiator.
Really?
And we both pissed in a bottle. Put our piss in the radiator, and then we had like a couple body armors and a couple camelbacks. So we put everything we could in the radiator, and then just kept trucking along. It held. Then we kept overheating after this. So we have to slow down, but it turned out to be the cap. And then Jensen kept I'm like, I had a spare cap. I'm like, dude, it's fucking, I think it's the cap. Dude, he's like, I'm like, dude, we should just change the cap. And he kept battling me on the cap. I'm like, dude, I'm going to fucking change the cap, dude. Like, and I fucking changed it to 200 degrees the rest of the fucking lap. So that first year where we was slow going, doing that first lap, we lost a brake line, like the hard line on the firewall that decided to burst out. So we just pinched that. So I had, 3 brakes, which in the desert is like, especially when you're new racing that shit, we're chucking it off everything, thinking that's how you got to drive. We're like, man, this is brutal. So we had 3 brakes. So it was kind of sketch. Only had 1 brake in the front, but we made it to like we went through pit 1 or the main pit, and we got back out and we got back to the rocks. I think we made it up Spooners. We're about to go down Outer Limits, and we're like, what's the hold up? You know, like, can we go down? Like, get the fuck out of the way. And they're like, you guys can go down if you want, but I mean, they're calling it right now. And I'm like,
they're calling the race.
Yeah, it's just like at that point, like it's just, and with how much time, it was going to take to do knowing what we know now, we're like, fuck, because we could have recreationally done it, right? But it's like, fuck, after the day we had, it's like, fuck it. And actually on the way there, so R&D I did was on the way to the Emerson Lake bed on that backside to go to Spooners and shit. At one point the transfer case popped out of gear. We're like, oh shit. I'm like, oh fuck. And then it turned out the transfer case. We didn't know that at the time. So we just go bam, we slammed back in gear. So then Jensen ended up holding it because it happened again. So he just held it. And I was like, at a certain point, we're just cruising. Like, I smell gear oil. He's like, yeah, I did too a little bit ago. I wasn't going to say anything. So we're like, hey, fuck it. Keep pushing, right? So it turned out that the fucking case cracked in half.
Wow.
And long story short, what's happened is that the drive line, the male end was bottoming out in the female. So it was just punching the fucking cases. I didn't know that at the time. I thought it was like vibrations or something. So 3 housings later it was the front, the front section the low range section of the rear case. That makes sense.
Okay. Yep.
So that kept cracking. It was the same pattern every time. It was crazy.
Huh.
And Jensen, this is my turn to battle him. He would be like, "Hey, what about the drive line? You think the drive line's fucking bottoming out?" I'm like, "Ah, man, it's got enough." Because you take it off, it looks like it has enough slip where the female's gonna meet the large section of the upper section.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, it's got plenty, right?
Yeah.
Well, then I finally one day I was like, maybe Jensen's onto something, and I was like, oh shit, it still had like 2 inches.
Oh geez, that needed
when
to
the
go.
male was bottomed out. So
Oh.
yeah. So anyways, I had Steve at South Bay Driveline. He's the fucking man. Give him a plug. He made
a
my
wizard.
drive lines. Yeah. He's super best customer service, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Best customer service. Like I never even talked to him on the phone. It's all just messages through Facebook, right?
Mm-hmm.
He just asks for your measurements, blah blah blah, and he sends you your product. And then I actually fucked up when I originally bought him.
Did you get a pink sparkly one?
No,
Oh.
just black. Yeah. But I actually messed up on a measurement. I sent him back to him, or the front one. I was like, it doesn't seem right. And I referenced what I sent him. I'm like, oh, I fucked up. Well, he fixed it for me and sent it back to me.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
You
Nice.
know? So, and that was the original purchase, like the original when they showed up. I'm like, this doesn't look right. So he hooked me up, retubed it, sent it back. And then, this whole issue, I was like, hey man, it's bottoming out. So I sent it to him and he made me custom ends on it.
Okay.
Like there's these drive lines I have zero worry about. He made it with half wall tube, 1350 U-joints, and he has like a custom flange for Toyota patterns.
Okay.
So I smash on these things. People was like, hey, you're on your drive line. I'm like, I don't give a shit. You know? So
I need that.
The truck doesn't weigh that much. The drive line's just fine.
I beat on those things. I don't really worry about them all. I think I am going to put some new U-joints in it soon just because they've been fucking ran. But they're solid. So I forget where I was going with that. Oh yeah, Steve. I sent him the drive lines, and he shortened it up for me. And then, but when I got it back, we went out to Johnson Valley. I think it was like after Thanksgiving a couple of years ago, a few years ago, and I was getting rowdy on this line, going up outer limits, and all of a sudden my drive line popped out. I'm like, motherfucker! Now it's like slightly too short, but it's like at extreme articulation, right?
Okay.
Like just getting rowdy at fucking axle wraps or whatever, and it popped it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did measurements prior when I set up my bump stops for the rear. I just took measurements for shits and giggles, and I kept track of it. My rear drive line only traveled, I think, like a 1/2 inch to an inch at full bump and full extension. So I was like, well, fuck, it's the same slip. I'll just scab a piece off the rear drive line and put it on the front. So now it doesn't pop out anymore.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, what I have found,
the rear drive line doesn't really
they don't. Yeah.
flat spread that much. I don't know what you want to call that. It's shocking.
I think it's because it's the distance from the transfer case.
Yeah.
Right. When it's closer.
That's true.
Right,
Yeah.
has
you have
more-
less of a radius when it's further
and
away.
it's centered,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Because when it's on, if the drive line's on a corner and you're articulating down,
Right. Yeah.
then it's really traveling where, I mean, even at full droop, like, usually full droop's pretty much not at a full articulation kind of a thing. So it's usually it doesn't travel as much. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but one thing on the drive lines is after doing Vegas to Reno, my buddy Tony Howard, I don't know if you know who he is. He's a local. He races 4800, but
Okay.
he has a shitbox Toyota. You've probably seen him out on the trail with. He rode co-driver with me during Vegas to Reno because Jensen was working.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so he rode with me. Really good co-driver. I mean, he's a racer himself. So like he's pretty
He knows
fucking
what you
dialed.
want. Yeah.
Yeah, with a good team. And I've known him for years, since high school and shit too. But we both agreed that like, he's like, you should probably get some lighter weight drive lines made for the desert stuff. Because it's just, those things are just vibrating, right? Like they may not be like bent or, they might still be pretty true, but like they're just heavy. They're heavy and just like,
rotational mass on a drive line is a lot.
Yeah. So
We're
I
trying to go
actually just
fast.
reached out to Steve. I'm like, hey man, like I just kind of want to maybe make some lighter weight, like 095s or something, just for desert. Right. But when getting rowdy in the rocks, obviously I got those ones.
Yeah.
So,
I want the same exact specs. I just want a lighter version.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Sure. So did you do anything to plug the radiator or fix the radiator?
Yeah.
We got
You're still running it, dude.
So I took some expanded steel and I bridged a couple of the tubes for the front bumper and I put expanded steel across the front. So now it's like a nice, it still allows airflow, but it protects the radiator.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Good.
that was one thing. Whatever. I mean, what else?
Are you dual case in that thing or just single case for?
They're like the strongest, most durable, Toyota transfer cases. They're like 30 spline Marlin outputs. Comp gears, 228 front, 4.7 rear.
Okay.
People always, you know how it is online. People are like, oh, well, everywhere has its place. Like 228, like ripping the kind of the washy stuff or whatever, like between trails, it's really good. You don't want just 4.7. Like 4.7 is cool, but like just to do cruise from one spot to another, either you need to be in high, which may not work, or you need to be in like fourth or fifth gear, your 4.7 case.
Yeah.
So it's
just
like,
winds everything out.
I don't know. Everyone's got their opinions, but I'm like, hey man, everywhere has its place.
Yeah.
For sure.
Everything has its place.
That's our big argument. We talked to people about, Jimmy's 250-1 in Bobcat with the
R151 and F turbo transmission.
Yeah, the turbo transmission with the deeper vacuum. So he's got that, and like people are like, "What? Yeah, it just seems like way too much to be wheeling around in." Jimmy's like, "No, I don't use it all the time. Like, it's situation. The point is that I have the option if I ever need it."
That's what it really comes down to. There's a time when I'm in my 2.28. There's a time when I'm just in the 4.7, and then there's almost never a time, but occasionally it might happen when I'm in low. Right. And as you have these options, like what range do I want to be in with this obstacle?
Right. I find the only times I'm ever in like double low.
Yeah.
Like that is like super sketchy. You're like, dude, any momentum in the suspension is going to put me over.
Yep.
Or you need to get up on something kind of steep and you're not like,
you need to find where the traction is.
Yeah. So like a couple years ago and we were going up Chocolate Thunder during the race and we showed up and it was open. It was nice.
Yeah.
So we had every line to choose from. I'm like, oh fuck, what do we want to do? So I was like, fuck it. I'm going center up that shelf.
Yeah.
And Jensen's like, all right, man. Like, because there's other ones that are better for like
longer wheelbases,
like 35s and shit. And I was like, fuck, I'm going up that because I know the rig, right? It's like, I'm pretty sure it'll be able to do this. So I just go up to it, put in double low, and I just get the tires on front.
Yeah.
And then fucking put in like third or fourth gear, and fucking get up it, right? But then obviously came out but I just used that low range to get up on top of it. And we made it right up, no problem. How like everybody, it seems like is like winching up all that shit. Like, and I did the calculation. It was only like a couple minutes from the bottom of Chocolate to the top that we spent there.
That's pretty good.
It was pretty cool. Yeah. Like, it was like, oh wow, we actually made good work of that shit. Like, it helped that there was nobody there, so we didn't have to like, oh fuck, that line's, we planned on that. Like you never want to plan on anything, right? Yeah. You just figure out when you get there.
I forgot who we were talking to, but somebody's like, you plan your course, but you practice the hard lines.
You hard. I think that was Rhea.
Maybe it was Rhea.
It was a Rhea or Trent.
Yeah. It's like you want to take this line, but you practice this line because that line's you're probably like everybody's going to be taking that line.
Be on that one.
But if somebody's fucked up there,
you've got to take this other line.
Or no, I can't do this. That's actually kind of speaking on that. This last year's EMC was our best. Every year we get better and better.
Okay.
And so we've made it across the finish line, across the state the last 2 years. Cool. Out of time. But everybody knows that race, especially in a shitbox. It's just a big deal just to complete the course, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so this year we made it like about an hour out of time.
Okay.
And the reason I bring this up is because we got rerouted for 4600 class to coming because we go down Wrecking Ball but we would take a left up Bender Alley while the 48s and 45s would go right and they were going up Jack.
Okay.
And then we were going up Bender Alley to Jack north and up, and then we reconvene at the top.
Okay.
Collectively. Reason being for that decision, originally they had us all going up Jack, which I just pre-ran. I've wheeled that trail and everything. Yeah. I just pre-ran it that day. And then we had a driver's meeting, and then this 46 guys all got together afterwards, kind of talk about a few things we wanted to address maybe. And one of the things was like rerouting, right? And I'm like, I was like, Jack's doable.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They're talking about going around. I'm like, hey,
point?
Jack's doable. And some guy next to me was like, no, it's not. I'm like, I just fucking did it today. Like, it's doable. Like, So, but my opinion, my voice was like, the only reason I'm into this change is not for wheeling a lesser of a trail, but because it's going to give us a fighting chance to at least make it in our time frame we have, because it's already we're already behind the curve with like just our ability to make it through these trails and the time we have available. Yep. And it's always a traffic jam. Traffic jams is one of the biggest
that's what kills everything.
Detriment to like, that's what happened to us the year before was all traffic jams really. A clean race as far as us, but it's just traffic jams. Right. So, this year we're at the bottom of Jack North, well, where Bender Alley comes in, take that left. Well, it's kind of a left-hand turn, goes up. It's just diff hangers everywhere, making that turn up there. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And then there's like a rock face. It's kind of the same thing as I was just talking about on chocolate. It's just like a ledge. I'm like, dude, I could fucking do that. Right. So I looked at it in pre-running. I'm like, if it's fucked up over here, people are balled up and just, whatever.
That's our line over there.
I'm going that. Well, we got there. Nobody was there. I was like, I'm like, it looked like it'd been ran, in the time frame between when we pre-ran. And then I was like, fuck it, dude. I'm going that, dude. Like, it's whatever. So I go up on it, get up on it, and I fucking give it, and the front end chatters over. And I go to put it in reverse, and I fucking like hindsight's 2020. I was like, I had a bad feeling right then and there. Well, I backed up, and the rear driver tire came up on a huge fucking rock, and just fucking bam, we dumped it over on its side. We're like, fuck. And the reason I brought up the rerouting was because nobody's coming by at this point in the distance in this race. Like attrition's taking a bunch of people out. The people, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, dude, nobody's coming. Yeah. At this point.
Yeah, you guys are on your own to get this car back up.
There might be somebody coming, know? So Jensen's down on the ground, and apparently he's claustrophobic. I found this out. During this time. So I'm like trying to get out of this fucking thing, like everything yard sailed, and then he's like, will you hurry the hell up? I'm like, I'm fucking trying, man. Yeah. Like, as I'm getting out, I'm crawling out of this thing. I hear a motor coming up behind us.
Oh, nice.
I'm like, oh, fuck. And it turned out it was the Alex, Sherpa Motorsports.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I'm like, oh, it's the fucking Sherpa 4Runner. Like, so they come up. We're like, hey, man, any way you guys could fucking winch us over. They're cool. They're good sports. Like, they're good sportsmen. So, but we also help them by getting them through the diff hangers. Okay. So it's kind of a trade, right? Yeah. So we got them through the diff hangers, stacked a few rocks and shit, got them up. They winched us over, and I was just like, hey, can you just winch us all the way up this fucking thing? Just get it out of the way, right? But the motor hydrolocked, so I wasn't able to, if it didn't do that, we would have been able to get up. We would have been able to fucking unhook and fucking go. So I had to pull plugs and all that shit. But we were like, hey, just get the fuck out of here. Like, we didn't want to like take their time away. So we're like, hey, we'll get out of here. So we pulled plugs, cleaned up all our shit, but dude, that shit fucking shot so much oil out. The engine was just tired. I've been hammering on that thing for years. So that's why I just recently rebuilt it and did some machine work on it. But so that took us at least an hour, unfortunately, just because getting them up, getting us back over, pulling the plugs, it just takes time, so.
We've had to do that, huh?
Yep. Somebody rolled me over in Hell's Gate. Jimmy.
Sort of.
But that was kind of if it wasn't for that, we were making good time. We might we good chance we would have had an official finish. But you never know what's going to happen after that. Yeah. But if you just change that occurrence and everything else stayed constant, we probably would have had an official finish. So this year,
I mean, every year, how many 4,600 cars? And this is the stock class.
Yes, sir.
So 4,600 is stock class. You're very limited on what you can do to the vehicle. And you guys are running a modified course, but it's not that modified.
Sometimes they'll have you do like a bypass, right? Yeah. Just because they're throwing the 48s and shit, like good trail, right? They're like, well, I think a lot of it really does come down to the traffic jams,
for sure,
and also vehicle capability. I think Dave does have some sort of sympathy for the 4,600 class when he's like, I'm not going to make the 46s do that shit. Yeah. You guys are doing it. Yeah. There is some of that, but
how many 46s enter each year, do you think?
I can't remember. Like, it was like somewhere around 30. There, like 2 years ago, there was a bunch.
I would say it seems like it's getting more and more. Yeah.
This year, I don't know if you guys know Tom Biddle. He races the black, Filthy Motorsports.
Okay.
Trail rig racing.
Yep.
He and I were the only Toyota pickups.
Wow.
Yeah. But the year before, there was a bunch.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember there was one of the years, there was like 7 or 8, something like that. I was like, damn, there's a lot of Justin's either expanding or he's inspiring a lot of people. So, but so you get 30 to 40 cars in the 4,600. How many of them actually finish in time?
You typically have like 5.
I was going to say less than 5. I was going to put it around 5 or 3 to 5.
Yeah. So we always say like, if we can get an official finish, we're going to be top 5, at least close to, right? Yep. And people, the Broncos, the introduction of the Broncos, the class, and those newer vehicles with a lot of power, and the suspension designs, like the 4Runners even, they're fast. Like the Toyota Creek 4Runner, it's fast. They've been chasing some bugs over time.
Right.
but like that thing is fast. But the thing about the vehicles like that is that they're fast in the desert and some of that stuff, but they're
struggle
okay
through the
in
rocks,
right? So,
yeah.
So the Broncos, like the big Broncos are a big deal to everybody, right? And I think myself and a lot of people in the class, we're just like, yeah, we don't really care about them, right? Yep. Because they are what they are. They're going to be there regardless. It's like,
and the Broncos are backed by Ford too, so they got a bunch of money that they're able to
it's not
put
just
into.
Like you and I went and bought one. It's like they've had the money to, and they got like good, which they're pretty cool, right? But I just it's kind of changed the direction of that class a little bit with the newer vehicles. But so I always say it, and I think
they need to have like a factory 4600 where like
there's been talks about something like that.
A subset of the 4600 class.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
or
like,
even a 4800. Like if you want to run a rig and be a factory backed 4800 class, like have a factory subset of it. Like especially on the Everyman Challenge, you want to have a factory backed 4400. By all means, whatever. Everybody races 4400. That's the point of having an unlimited class.
Yeah.
But I think there's a big argument going around right now with these now that especially Ford, which kudos to them, getting more into the rock crawling and off-road performance scene.
They're definitely, out there.
It's rad to see them out there and being a part of it. But it especially for like the Everyman Challenge and what that was built around, right? And the history of Everyman Challenge. I feel like they need to create a subset of the class or something for these factory back teams.
Yeah. I'm not trying to dog the Broncos or anything.
Yeah,
what they got, they meet the rules.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But let's be real. The edge that a vehicle like mine has first that is a lot different.
Yeah.
And then, and the people that know what that class was founded on know like, hey, this is what the spirit of the class is all about. It's a vehicle like this. Right.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that vehicles like the Broncos or whatever aren't eligible to race.
Correct.
It's just kind of changing a little bit of what the class is all about. So
for sure,
there's been talks about like making like a subcategories within it, right? Like shitbox, like years, right? Versus like New Year's, right? But I will tell you, like in Moab, the Bronco guys, like myself and Tom are there. They were saying they were worried about us because it's a rock crawling race.
Oh yeah,
because there's not a lot of spots.
The BFE beatdown.
Yeah, there's not a lot of spots for those like the faster Broncos and shit to really pick up distance and speed on smoother shit like desert, right? It's all rocks. Yep. So, they were allegedly and I even heard later afterwards. I heard it beforehand from somebody else, secondhand or third hand, and then afterwards I heard it straight from one of the Bronco guys, like, "Hey, we were worried about you."
Yeah.
Which, so that race was awesome. Perfect, because it's the perfect race for a Toyota like mine.
Yeah.
Right. Justin Reese has won it. Like, it's the race. Like I was talking to him ahead of time, like, hey man, I got kind of KOH down at this point, but what is picking his brain a bit about that race,
That's
right?
a stomping ground too.
Yeah, exactly. He was supposed to come out, but he the saga of the vehicle he was trying to drive all dirt out there, and then he's having issues. He wasn't able to make it. But so I qualified 5th. We had 3 laps. There were 5 miles each, and finishing the first lap, starting the second, I pulled up I was in second.
I
was in second place. Yeah. You look at the corrected time where I was in second place. But then I lost my brakes because, and this is one of the R&D things that I have is because the shocks are mounted off the back of the axle. I have banjo bolts on my calipers. So, because the other style, it sticks out, so the shocks would smash it. That's one of the first things I found with the design I had is the shocks would smash it. So I came up with this hard line, or excuse me, a braided line, banjo bolt setup. But I have to have the steering stop set correctly because at articulation, one thing I found was that I set it on flat ground, but when it articulates, the shock moves in relation to the end, so it actually articulation will hit end when it's turned. Right. So that's something I've chased for a while, but I put brake shut offs on my dash. So if I lose my brakes, I can shut them off.
That's nice.
However, during this race, the heat of the moment, I forgot I put those there. So I'm like, my buddy Harley Gower, he was riding with me on that one. Again, Jensen was working at summer. He couldn't make it to this one. So Harley was filling the co-driver duties on this one. And I'm like, fuck, dude, I lost my brakes. Fuck it. We're going gears, fucking 4.7. Using gears the whole time to slow down. I had 0 brakes, right? So I ended up finishing 5th in my starting position. Out of 10. So it's still good. We still officially finished, and I finished my starting position. So, which is while I was looking at the track, the lap data, obviously lap 2 and 3 were slower than 1. but they were within like 10 seconds of each other.
Really?
If that. For lap two. So like consistent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the two brakeless laps were so close together in time. It was like, wow, fucking consistency.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's interesting.
So yeah, then the next day I was just I was going to bleed the brakes to go just do some rec wheeling. So I like to like stay a little bit after the races, kind of like hang out.
Relax.
Right? Especially KOH. But I went to go bleed the brakes and I'm like looking at my dash. And I'm like, you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
I have those fucking shutoffs, dude. Like that's the whole reason, right? But you know, sometimes that's like the stress curve that I don't know if you guys are familiar with or you've heard talked about. It's like you start going right of the curve, you start your ability to like cognitively like put things together goes away. So
you start tunnel visioning and you just
in the moment. I was like, well, fuck, it's race mode, right? It's like, well, just got to keep going. Right? I could have just reached right in front and turned it off. So I mean, I could shut off the fronts. I would have still had rears. Yeah. So who knows what it would have turned out to be if I, if I did that, in fact, did that. But what I am glad about is
first place, Chris. Think about that.
Who knows? John Williams was hauling ass in that. He was fucking killing it in that race. But I'll take the results how they went because the next day when we were rec wheeling, my steering shaft, the splines popped out. Like under the hood. So like the shaft, box. Like the different connections. No, it was up
in the shaft. Okay.
It was above the box, but the same thing. One of those popped off. So I'm just driving down the road. We're like, hey, dude, check out that. I think it was Steel Bender. If you guys remember with that trail. Yep. We were driving to Moab for the day. I was like, hey, well, I'm going to go wheel this shit. Like Onyx shows a trail rear. Let's go check it out. Yeah. So we're driving there on the road. And then next thing you know, I got no steering. It's just my truck goes, fortunately I was going slow enough at the time. I wasn't, I was just hauling ass. Yeah. Like in the dirt. Jeez. And it just kind of veers off. I'm like, what the fuck? So look, the set screw came out and allowed it to pop off. Yep. So
been there.
I'm like, you know what? Fuck the race results. Like I am just glad that didn't happen in the race because no brakes in that. I was already trying to just to keep us from flying off a cliff. Right. If that happened during the race, dude, I don't know. It kind of fucking brings me chills to think about what could have happened. If you know what I'm saying? Like there was some fucking gnarly shit during that race that we could have fucking gone off. But they're that. Yeah. So
like kind of like rolling down a hill without a seatbelt on, huh?
you know, Jensen, he's kind of a Nazi about his seatbelts. He's when I ride in his rig, we do a decent amount of pre-running in his rig. We'll bring the race truck out. We do the whole course in the race truck, but some of the uncharted shit we haven't done yet that Dave throws in it, we'll go pioneer it. In Jensen's 400, a lot of times we'll go out the Havoc racing guys, the Boccies. Yeah. And we'll pioneer it. So, but he's always a Nazi about, he's like, put your seatbelt on, you know, at least the lap belt, right?
Yeah, something.
I'm like, yeah, okay. All right. So our, like, got to go on that. Like my policy for the race truck at KOH, we used to party, you know, KOH party and stuff. The first year we raced, we thought we could still party and race, not knowing any dude, like didn't know what the fuck we're getting into, right? We just were sending it, right? You know, so that was a shit show, but we kind of been there, experienced it. Like, all right, next year let's reel it in a little bit. So we've developed our program. Our program works pretty well, but one of my main policies is like we'll go pre-run. It's mission focused, mission based for what the rigs what I'm doing with that rig during the day. Yeah. Come back, you know, mid-afternoon, whatever, park it, and then we'll jump in Jensen's 400 and make our rounds, and then maybe go wheel some people, you know, around. But then we always have a mission for the next day. All right, let's start here where we left off, go here, right? Like we'll at least get to this point, and then just kind of etch it all off until we've hit the whole. So usually like this last year, we always do the desert once and we do it after the trophy trucks already go through. Yeah, some people, once we get the track data, some people will be like, we're going to do the desert, get it out of the way, and then we're just going to do the rocks. Nope. Well, you get it's a whole new trail, man. Because it's a whole different ball game once those trophy trucks races. So we'll do it on Monday, typically after the trophy trucks. Yep. So we have like a plan in place. So I think this last year we ended up doing the rocks about twice. Yeah, dude, pre-running's huge, man. Like you just have more confidence. Just in like area orientation, you know, and like the trails change, you know, as rigs go through it, rig by rig, really. But just having like, okay, knowing where the turns are and all this stuff and like how things link together, you're not second guessing it, or you're not like, it's not new to you and you're like, oh shit, which way do we go? You got to like really focus on it, right?
It can be a maze out there in all the hammer trails, right? In that area. They're linked together left and right and everywhere and which way. And there's sometimes signs in different areas, but a lot of times there's not. And if you don't know how those link together, you're going to get lost and turn around. I mean, it happened to Campbell one year. He went up and took the wrong turn. And they were like, he went off course for like 30 minutes before he figured it out, dude.
Probably not the first time it happened to Shannon.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, like, at least with us, we're going slow enough.
Yeah, true.
To where we're able to like see turns sometimes and recognize quickly, at least if we made a wrong turn. Those guys are going so fast. If they haven't, like, they might just make a mistake and miss it, you know, but, yeah, especially if you haven't done the pre-running, the homework into like nowhere. And that's why those guys get out there. It's, you know, they have a lot riding on what they do.
It was after that year that Shannon decided he's going to have a co-driver from then on out.
Oh yeah. The single seat shit. I mean, man, especially driving fast, you know, like it. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
There's too much to pay attention. I don't know how those single seaters do it, man.
Especially, you know, everybody has a bad day every now and then, right? You're going to have to winch. You're going to have to winch yourself, you know? I mean, you know, there's a bunch of drama that comes along with that. We don't need to get into that, how some things maybe happened over the last few years. But there's a lot of speculation, but being a single seater and like having to winch yourself, that'd be fucking terrible. Like I've had to do it, just camping. Like, I've been in where I'm just like hanging out with my buddies or hunting, and I've looked at this creek bed over here. I'm like, oh, that looks fun. Well, and next thing I know, it's like 3 hours have gone by, and I'm like stuck in this thing just because, you know, certain factors. You know, the rain, but also maybe some of the, you know, beverages I've had up to that point. Yeah, dude, I pulled my winch like 8 times this time. And I'm like, God damn it. Like, and next thing you know, now it's dark. And like, I finally get out of this creek bed and it's dark. I'm like, fuck, I don't even know where the trail's at. So I have like this topo map app, and I'm like, okay, the fire road is that way. So I just bushwhacked out to the fucking road. It was just a long, I didn't even know if I was in 4-wheel drive, I probably was in neutral. I don't know. I was just,
wow.
Yeah.
Wild.
So
I want to ask you a question about sort of current events. You're the first racer we've had on the show since this whole thing is going down with Johnson Valley and the Marine base now kind of encroaching and taking the air rights from Johnson Valley. What, as a racer, what does that mean to you? And what are your thoughts on that happening?
Man, it's just be a bummer. You know, I filled out my thing and sent it in, you know, like probably all of us have. And I was like, hey man, this place is a very magical place. You know, there's a lot of history that comes along with King of the Hammers itself, you know, what's done for the off-road industry, but just people in general. Like, you know, I got friends that have been going down there since, you know, like long before KOH was a thing, you know, it's just such a cool place. And then for KOH to develop and become what it is, arguably a little insane, but it's such a big event in the off-road world, and it's a cool part to be part of it as a racer. Right. And, again, I probably wouldn't be sitting here today talking to you guys if it wasn't for, you know, that event. And then, you know, guys like Justin Reese racing the shit and be like, oh, I could race a Toyota, you know? So it's just gonna be a big bummer. So hopefully that, you know, some of the right decisions can be made, you know, to allow us to, because I mean, realistically, it's like they only use it X amount of time out of the year anyway. So why don't they just have restricted airspace during that time? Right. Just make it known. Publicized, you know, I mean, I think they're having to tell the neighboring airports anyway. So it could just be, nobody's gonna be flying through there. Right. And obviously KOH isn't gonna be, as long as they don't try to like dick around the, you know, the KOH is already on the books. Everything's already, you know, all that shit. And then they're like, oh yeah, we changed plans. We're gonna be using it this week. It's like, come on, you know, like they obviously have a pretty logistical, you know, like the liaisons between the two, the event and the organization, or excuse me, the Marine Corps and all that stuff to, it's not gonna be any surprises, but it just sucks to think that, you know, that could be a thing. I'm hopeful that it's not. I think there's enough folks out there and that have the, you know, and in the military that have the ability to reason, but sometimes when, I don't know how many people have their mind set on this. And, you know, military folk, when they got their mind set on something, they probably have it set. Like the higher ups, they're going to be like, fuck those guys. Whatever like it is. But I think with enough voice from guys like us.
That's what I'm hoping.
You know,
and
I really
hope,
you know what? Maybe we should rethink this.
Yeah, the thing that I'm hoping helps is the off-road community is such advocates of military. Right. It's like we're not trying to be dicks. We're not trying to shut you guys down. Like we want you guys to be able to train. We want you guys to be able to do your thing. But like there's no other place to do this at. Right. Like you can't hold King of the Hammers on Fordyce. You can't hold King of the Hammers at Moon Rocks. Like there's no other place really in the country to do an event like KOH.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, it is the hammer. The hammers is the hammer trail. It's
Yeah,
like it can't be king of the king of Fordyce Creek,
king of the Appalachians.
Yeah, like it's its own area, you know, and it's so magical and special to what it represents.
Yeah, just work with us here, man. That's all we're asking. We're not telling you guys you can't train. We're not telling you guys you can't take over the area at certain parts of the year for training. Like just we can't have this event anywhere else though. Like that this is our only option. You guys have other options.
Yeah. You know what that means though, as far as my understanding, because you know, in my job we have working with aircraft and stuff. Like there's big restrictions on aircraft use, especially like levels of the military.
Yeah.
Dude, like you couldn't even fly just a personal drone. Technically, if they catch you flying a drone 10 feet in the air. In that area, who knows what's going to happen to you, but it's probably not going to be good. Yeah. Like, cause it's restricted airspace. Like you have to have licensure and all that stuff to fly drones, you know? Like with Cal Fire, for instance, it's a public service announcement for those listening. If you see a fire going on, do not put a fucking drone in the air. Yeah. Because it'll ground aircraft.
For sure.
They will have to, for safety reasons, they will ground the aircraft until they can clear the airspace of that drone, make sure that it's not up there anymore. So, it's kind of a big deal. So there's fires that have gotten away because big fire. I'm not going to name any fires because I'm not going to, you know, but there were some big fires and Camp Fire is not one of them. That was, you know, that had nothing. They had to ground the aircraft for that because the winds were so strong.
Yeah.
They were able to, I think they had rotary wings, so helicopters, but the fixed wing, the air tankers, they had to ground in the first, few hours just because like they were going to get blown out of the sky. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyways, drones, just drones themselves, like a personal drone can affect things on a pretty large scale. Yeah. And people don't realize it. So.
Yeah. Do you know if there's any record on how many medevacs happen in Johnson Valley every have you heard any of that?
I don't have any stats, but I mean, I see the copter flying in, like a medevac looking copter. Yeah. At least it looks like they're on a mission like that, probably 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And it could be for, anything such as, a heart attack or a stroke or anything, something like that, just because the distance, the time it takes to get out to their access, all that stuff, and for them to fly them out to where they need to go.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean some gnarly trauma, but we know those happen out there too. So
interesting.
But I want to say like 3 or 4 times, I'm guessing that they utilize a copter to maybe.
During the event itself. I'm thinking like during recreational times outside of the event too.
About. Okay. That's kind of what I'm. I could be totally off. I mean, I'm obviously doing my thing,
I don't know. I haven't done the research. I haven't asked Shannon if there is any sort of record like that. We're actually going to be talking with Ben from Blue Ribbon Coalition later this afternoon. So I was like curious if Blue Ribbon has any record of that. I don't know. It just seems like restricted airspace in Johnson Valley is such a bad idea.
Yeah.
For the community and society. I
mean, they say they're like, you can still have the event, but you can't have like, media copters, all this stuff. Well, that's also like emergency copters falling. But then when you get into like stuff like that, they could probably like, all right, for emergency use only, they have to get like airspace approval. Probably, hey, we're going to launch a ship out this area for this medical shit. Yeah, there's a lot of shit.
So really, it's just going to mean Robbie Gordon can't go recover his vehicle with his helicopter anymore.
Yeah, you're going to have to winch it like all of us, dude.
Yeah. Geez, that was so funny watching that car flying through the air. Yep. Austin, anything else, man? You obviously Mean Street Racing. That's what we're here talking today about. Chris, how you got into everything, and Jensen. You guys are out there. How many races are you guys doing every year? Sounds like BFE.
So this year, my goal was like, man, I'm going to get out there and do at least the whole Ultra 4 Western Series.
Wow. Okay. Good for you.
So I put my head to that. And that was kind of my goal. And then looking at finances, I'm like, fuck, man, I got like a threshold I get to, but I'm like, you know what? I set the fucking goal, no matter what the financial burden is or not. Right. And I'm just going to do it just because why not? Right. Because I've wanted to the previous years. At least do more racing, but it's always something like, first year was the radiator. I had to pull the head off and do all this stuff, and the Moab was happening right after KOH, so I wasn't able to. That was the last time they did Moab, and I was pretty disappointed. They haven't had it on the schedule to this year, so I was super pumped to go do it this year. So I just had to work on the rig to do. It's always like something just little stuff, and then balancing regular life. I'm not in a relationship now, but having a relationship and just kind of trying to balance that. Along with the off-road stuff and the racing, like it's just a challenge. So I'd always try to get out. KOH was always a must. It's like the biggest thing. And that's something I wrote in my thing to them was like a big part of my year's plans revolve around like at least 2 weeks down in Johnson Valley this time of year. Right. So, I mean, then I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
But you know, there's the NorCal Rock Racing Series. I've done a few of those over the years. But this year was like where I actually had the free time, right? The time available in my schedule.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to like coordinate it with somebody else.
Yeah.
Right. Does that make sense? Because you want to be respectful of somebody else's time, and it's just hard, you know? So this year I'm like, you know what? I it's just me, right? I might as well just go out and do it. I'll spend the money and all that stuff on making it happen and just have a good time, you know? And it's, so so it's been pretty successful. So we're not hitting the podium. You know, I'm not hitting the podium, but like consistency is key and pays off. And it shows in the points because I've been consistent fourth place or fifth place finisher out of however big the pack is. Right. But with Ultra 4 and I think a lot of the other racing series, they add up points for what position you get and stuff. So I'm actually sitting in second place in the national standings and then second place in the Western standings right now. Okay.
That's pretty rad.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's cool to see. It's like, and I didn't even look at the sheet until I'm like, holy shit. It actually, it showed me number one. They've been updating all that stuff. So it's kind of been an ongoing thing. You know, there's a lot of numbers, a lot of data for them to track through, you know, even just for one class. So, and through all the classes on it and all the different races. So it's a lot for them to do. And, you know, I appreciate what they do. Some people kind of get on them a little bit like, well, the points are messed up and like, that's taking forever. It's like, well, you know, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of data to go through, you know, there's going to be screw ups. Right. So it's like, you know, if you see something, just bring it to our attention. Like, oh shit, we didn't see that. Right. But anyways, they updated everything. So I'm number two in national standings and in the Western Series standings. So this next weekend is the Joker. So it's a wild card for the Western Series. Okay. That's coming up this weekend, and it's going to be big because you can utilize this race to replace the points and your placement
from a different race.
But you had to have raced all the races in the series. So if you missed one, you're not able to utilize it. It basically doesn't mean anything, right? Okay. So, So this one, I've had official finish in all the other, except for KOH. Everyone I've had official finish 4th, 5th place, right? So consistency is key, and that puts me up there because other guys have DNF'd, broken, or just not done as well as they wanted to. But so there was 3 people before Vegas to Reno. I was in 4th. All 3 of those ahead of me had a DNF in one of the races, right? So. Well, because 2 of those guys DNF'd Vegas to Reno. Okay. Right. So you better believe they're going to be showing up for this one. Yeah. One's a Bronco, one's a fast Jeep. Yeah. Right. So, and, you know, Prairie City's a nice, you know.
That's where it's happening at Prairie City?
Yeah, it's at Prairie City this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's this weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, bummer.
So I don't know when this is going to air, but.
It's on Monday. So how'd you do?
Yeah, how was the race?
I hope I won. First place. But so those guys, I mean, so you got all 3 of the guys before Vegas to Reno was 4th, and all 3 of those dudes have a DNF in one of the races. So they're going to have to show up if they want to have an official standing at the end of the series. Show up for this race. So, and they're all high power, you know, the Broncos, high power shit. And so I just got to get in front of them and keep them behind me. That's that's my goal.
But if you place at Prairie City, you can use it to replace your KOH standing, right?
No, because that's a national race. It's a national race versus a regional race.
Got it.
So, but that's the reason I'm sitting where I am national standards, because I had a pretty decent, I generated really good decent points for how I did in KOH, which where we got to when we timed out was at a decent spot, because we almost did the whole thing, but they timed us out. So like, all right, however they figure out the points where you got to at a certain point, blah, blah, they give you a certain amount of points.
90% of the course, you get X amount of points or whatever it is.
Yeah. So however they
figure it out.
But so it's going to be a big race this weekend. I mean, I'm going to have to, it's a battle. It's going to be a battle. I posted a couple things on Instagram. It's like, you know, I'm going to have to push it hard. Like I'm going to have to race to win, because these guys will have the horsepower and the suspension to just take off on that short track. And, you know, so I have my strategies. I have my strategies and,
this won't air until afterwards. You can tell us the strategy. I'm just kidding.
So
you don't have to.
But the strategy is I just got to get off the line and get through those rocks and ahead of as many of them as possible, and just make my rig as wide as possible and keep them behind me. Yeah. And then, you know, a lot of this stuff is just attrition, right? So, I mean, a vehicle might just have an issue, right? And I think that's what happened to Albert and John Williams during Vegas to Reno. Unfortunately, just you never know what's going to happen. Like could be a 50-cent part, as Randy Slauson said, just is what takes you out.
Yeah.
So who knows I don't know exactly what those guys happened, but they weren't able to finish Vegas to Reno. So you just never know. Yeah. So, I mean, somebody might roll over or somebody might do this, right? It's just, so I got to keep the rig together, but push it hard. Keep those, keep those dudes behind me if I can. Cause once they're ahead of me, like, I don't know. They just
hard to catch it with the 22RE.
Yeah, I got more power now though. After some of the work that was done on the motor before Vegas to Reno. So I'm curious to see how it is, because the engine was getting pretty tired. You know, pushing on it for 5 years almost, and it was time for a refresh. We did some machine work, like I said. So I mean, it had more power. Notice it almost had, it's like it had a power band when we were at Vegas. It was like, what? I was like, holy shit, yeah, dude. So I'm curious to see how it does it at Prairie City. But those races are brutal, man. Like,
they are.
I used to think Prairie City was like super brutal. I'm like, I don't want to race that. Like the NorCal series. I didn't race the NorCal series.
It's brutal on your vehicle.
Yeah, it's just because you're smashing. But dude, I'll tell you, until you've raced Moab. Like it seems brutal, but then you go Moab, it's like Prairie City, but longer and in the rocks.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it's a short track fucking race in the rocks with like legit rock crawling, and you're just, I don't know how my rig. It tried to destroy my rig.
Yeah,
when I got back from Moab, I looked at everything, and dude, frames cracked, fucking all sorts of shit. But all the bolts that were holding the T case mounts, you know, that bolt to the skid plate, those were all gone. So
drivetrains.
Yeah, some people run full float axles. I run full float T cases. You know, they were just like, so I was like, oh shit, I don't know how long. Oh fuck, you know. So yeah, no, Moab's brutal. So you know, Prairie City's brutal, but now that I've raced Moab, I'm like, Prairie City. It's just the jumps, dude. Like with Lee Springs is fucking terrible.
Yeah,
sure.
But
I get
that. Phil Licardi, shout out to him. He does, you know, all my shock work and stuff, and a lot of people I know. I'm sure a lot of people you guys know. Like he's kind of like my tech guy, you know, as he is everybody. I'm like, hey man, what do you recommend for this? Like bump pressures and all that. So I changed my bump pressure for all the races. Actually, I've been changing it instead of just leaving it constant.
Okay.
Altering it for what kind of race I'm doing. So 250 PSI for the short track shit. It's kind of the recommendation.
You run a lower for KOH kind of thing?
Yeah, just more for like rock. I mean, you kind of, it's whatever, 150. It's kind of somewhere around there. Just because you're still taking hits in the desert, but you want it to be able to articulate and compress when you're in the rocks. Yep. So I mean, I'm sure 250 wouldn't feel very good in the rock.
Constantly bumping out hard bumps.
But it made a difference. I did notice that it felt better last Prairie City race, having more pressure in there. So
for the jumps.
For the jump. Yeah, exactly.
Got it. Cool.
Awesome, dude. If people wanted to follow along with Mean Street Racing, reach out to you, ask you questions. If people want to come out and hang out as the pit crew, how can they do that? How do they get a hold of you for anything like that?
Well, if you want to come say what's up, you know, Prairie City this weekend. Yep. Outside, I guess it's Rancho Cordova. I always say it's Folsom, but
it's like a halfway
between Friday. Friday is practice and qualifying, and then the main event kicks off pretty early on Saturday. Usually they start racing about 9:00, and it's like an all day thing. And I think for the Ultra 4, we have 2 heats, like a prelim and a main. Versus the NorCal series usually has 3 heats. There's 2 prelims and 1 main. So you come out, say what's up there. Instagram, Mean Street Racing 4663 is the handle.
Cool.
And that's kind of all I got right now. I've been throwing around some ideas of some other stuff to do. Cause I don't know, anyway, I don't got to get in all that. It's like, in order to get anywhere, it's like, I don't know. You just look at all these people that just like simple shit they put on YouTube channels and stuff, and they got like millions of followers, and you're like, what the hell? I'm like, man, I got 1,200, you know, so bigger companies like Nitto, they don't like sponsor anybody racer wise less than 4,400. Right. And that's what I've understood. I mean, you obviously have like Lauren Healy and those guys racing Nittos, and some other people have Nittos. I'm not sure what their deal is with them, but basically what I've got is that they don't do anything less than 44s. So, I mean, you look around 48s, I don't really even see, a lot of people are just running Mickey Thompsons, BFGs, right?
Access.
Patagonia, I'm not, or the Milestars.
Yeah.
I won't say what I think about any of those tire company, not those tire, but like some of the tire companies. I'd rather run something I trust in, versus somebody offer me a deal or give me free stuff that I'm like, I don't trust, right? Granted, I have to give it the time to build the trust, but I know what I like. And the Nitto Trail Grappler is what it is.
Yeah.
Right. So anyways,
what is some of the gear on your truck that you really do trust in, that you have a lot of faith in? Could be some of your sponsors, could just be stuff that you're just like, dude, I'm buying this no matter what. Whether people sponsor me or not, like the Nitto Trail Grappers, like that's one of them. Sounds like the Skies Off-Road Springs.
Yeah, the Sky Springs.
Sure.
We talked about those a lot. I mean, the Sky Springs. I from the beginning didn't want to run anything else, and I run them, and it took a while for them to they sponsor me now, but I was just beating on their door all the time, like, this guy won't shut up, like he won't go away.
They sponsored you to shut you up.
Yeah, leave us alone, man. So yeah, I run their stuff. I mean, the Front Rage Diamond stuff, dude. That front end would not stay together with anything else, in my opinion, with how hard we beat on that fucking thing.
Yeah.
Because we didn't talk about this. I know we probably got to wrap up, it seems like, but I ripped the knuckle ball off the end of the axle one year, the second year we raced. Yeah. And that was just because it was a rough stuff housing, right? Nothing. The rough stuff housing was good, but they were just stock knuckle balls in the ends. So, yeah, we learned a lot from the first year racing. And we're like, okay, let's take it easy through the desert. We'll pick it up where we can and push it where we can. So we're doing the first lap. This is where we went counterclockwise. We're about to come into where Turkey Claw is. The copter was just following us, actually. We're like, oh shit. And Jensen's like, all right, don't wad it up now. Like, all right, so, and then they take off, and he joking was like, all right, now where were we? So, well, we're just cruising along. We're fucking going. We're like 55, 60 miles an hour and nothing crazy, right? And then just caught this soft edge of sand and then fucking just sent us airborne, endoed into this other mound of sand and then ripped the knuckleball off the axle. Yeah. So it was a stock knuckleball, I think. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if it was a diamond housing, that wouldn't have happened. Something else probably would have broke with that impact, or nothing would have broke.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah. So I mean, the diamond front housing is the most stout, best, in my opinion, right? And Brian's helped me out a lot, hooked me up, is the best, strongest Toyota-based 8-inch housing you can have. Yeah. Those knuckleballs, dude, I put them side by side. If you looked at them, they're billet chroma, like half as, 2 times as thick as the stock shit. And I don't even know how it works. I'm like, wait a minute, it's thicker, but you can still fit everything around it. Like everything goes in it. Like, how does this make sense? Right. But yeah, so actually, I got stories all day, dude. We could talk about that all day. But I originally hit him up initially because I was trying to like figure out like what knuckleballs to put in the rough stuff housing. I was like, hey man, how much for the knuckleballs? Is like $1,400 and it comes with a free axle. I'm all funny. So I already talked to rough stuff and had that housing at the time. So I just kind of went with what I had, but changed everything over. Diamond fucking shit. That is just, the first year having that on there, like, so it was like a couple years ago, dude, there was like this rock right out of Hammertown, that section you're talking about, and those whoop shit. Yep. Right. Bam, we would get everybody. People were getting flats and shit. And then we found it. Like, we missed it, like, I think the first time when we pre-ran, but when we found it during the race, it was like, God, I was like, oh, fuck, there's that rock they were talking about. That would have destroyed the axle. Yeah. Like, if we had nothing but that, it would have been, our race would have been done within the first 2 miles, So there's that. Dude, the tried and true stuff, dude. I mean, Jim Putney makes a solid engine. He's the guy, we're just fortunate enough to have him local. Like, people are reaching out to him from all around the world. Really, he's shipping shit to other countries. Wow. And he does a lot of great fucking work. He's sought after. So
22
Raceworks. Used to be 22 Hour Performance, but he changed the name because he had a partner, and the guy that does the 22 Hour that sold the parts is under 22 Hour Performance now, but 22 Hour Raceworks. So Jim does all the machine work, all the building stuff, but he also still sells parts. So if you need parts too, don't hesitate to go to Jim at 22 Hour Raceworks. But he's so busy with builds, right? Like he's just so backed up, right? But he builds a good fucking motor. But the solid, the diamond axle, and then the front range arms, because everyone talks about the 6-shooter knuckles and all that shit. The
front range arms, those are the ones that are keyed, right?
Yeah. So they're machined keyed over the top. Yep. So there's no shear on those studs at all. Yep. Right. So I run those, and I still use ARP studs. Okay. Just because I'm good insurance, right? Yeah. So ARP studs, those steering arms are fucking it. And then I run 7/8 rough stuff Heim steering. Okay. So all these people online and stuff, they're like doing this stuff. I'm like, hey, this, and this, just do that.
Yeah.
Right. Cause it's proven, dude. Like I beat the fuck out of this thing. You know, I have my issues here and there. I got to make sure everything's tight, but like, it's just like takes abuse, man.
Yeah.
Like it's the strongest Toyota built, like Toyota based shit that the RCV 300M RCV axle shafts, the fucking front range arms, the diamond housing, the fucking rough stuff, steering, blah, 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 you know, all that stuff. The Marlin comp gears and the cases with 30. Unfortunately, Marlin doesn't make the 30 spline outputs anymore, unfortunately. Like,
really? When did they stop that?
I don't know, man. It seems like they're going more towards like the
newer late model
vehicles,
stuff,
you know, like the RCLT stuff. Like they're really cashing in on that.
Yeah.
And some of they're not building cases anymore. I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't researched, but like what exact services they're providing more. From what I understand, they're not building cases anymore. And or transmissions or whatever.
Wow.
But it's kind of a bummer because that was like their
That's
wheelhouse.
They were
the guy.
That's them,
Like Marlin was the guy, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know. Because my cases, my other truck were built from them. Like I had Marlin build me cases, and that's what's in my green truck, you know?
Yeah.
But just solid. I just build shit solid, man. Like you just got to build it solid so that the shit holds together. All the stuff that I have, like, I don't know.
Good stuff.
It works, obviously.
It works, and it took a while to get there. Like I said, I mean, it's just you've put some stuff on that you think somewhere, this can be better. But dude, I still run Toyota 8-inch shit. But it's all in the setup and like what you run. Like you got to have a setup with good gears and good maintenance. So every year, it's kind of been on an every other year schedule. But I think this year, because the rig hasn't got used a lot from KOH to KOH. But this year, since I've been hammering on all year doing all these races, both diffs are coming out. Both diffs are going to my buddy Perry, and he's gonna probably. I always have him rebuild them with new bearings. Keep the same gear set, but new bearings.
Wow.
Because the bearings are what, you know, you get wear in your bearing, that pinion shifts over. It's going to
where you
break.
start getting deflection more.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, you know, you got to make sure shit's tight. So at least at minimum, I pull my shit and have them look over them.
Right.
Right. But most of the time, you know, I'll have them do at least one with new bearings every year.
Yeah.
Are you running 529s?
529s. I consider going 488s after Vegas to Reno, but I don't
thought about just putting in having two sets of diffs, one for like a Vegas to Reno desert setup, one for rock KOH.
Yeah, but so I thought about that.
Yeah.
It's just money, right? It's money.
Right.
But I talked to Tony Howard, Scumbag. That's his nickname. Scumbag Tony.
All right.
I was like, hey man, before I made any decisions, I called him. I was like, you were in the rig for that race. Like, what do you think? Like, what's your, you know, based off the RPMs we're hitting and what speeds and all this shit, what do you think 488s would be? He's like, no, because I don't think we're ever in fifth gear, which I think we were in fifth gear a few times, but we weren't topped out.
Yeah.
Right. And then the range between each gear you're in, it's kind of, you know, finding that it's just second gear is your fucking hell of high RPMs, and you go third and it goes down.
Yeah.
It's like, the range between certain gears and certain transmissions just depends. Right.
Yep.
So like your R151, right?
Yeah.
First gear and second gear, super low. Right? And then third, fourth, and fifth.
Or normal.
I have one of those in my green truck.
Yeah.
So it's like super low. It's too low. You're like, God damn. And then,
yeah. Like just driving up 80 to go to Fordyce or whatever, you know, it's like, I don't ever want to try to get down into second gear because then I won't be able to get back into third. Yeah. There's I just picture some of the hills coming up Wentworth Springs up to the Rubicon, you know, and it's like, I have to shift down to second. And then I'm just holding second till I get to the top of the hill because if I shift to third, I'll get 100 yards and then I have to shift to second again.
And then cement trucks are passing by you. Yeah. You're like, sick. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think we talked about it, and I don't think the gears are really going to do too much. Yeah. Drive lines though. Yeah. The rotational away those drive lines. That's the biggest thing that's going to change, at least for desert racing.
Nice.
Cool.
Awesome, dude. Well, thanks for coming on. It's been a couple hours chatting about Mean Street Racing, chatting about where you came from. A bunch of really fun stories there. So
dude, I could talk all day. You get me talking and shit. Like, oh man.
Well, I want to sit around a campfire with you. Yeah. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
We'll have a few brewskis, sit around a campfire, and we could talk stories all day long. I think that'd be fun.
I can't go to the Rubicon this weekend. I know you guys are doing that, but which kind of why it brought me here today. But yeah, I don't know. We'll get together sometime.
Figure it out.
We'll do a trip.
Yeah. Talk to Justin. See if you can come
talk
out
to
for
Justin.
that trip.
We'll give him a call.
Come out, bring your podcast shit out there. We'll do one on the trail.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, awesome, dude. Thanks for coming in. Jimmy, how can people get a hold of us if they got questions?
Yeah, you can find us over on Instagram. I'm at SnailTrail4x4. Tyler watches over 4x4 Toyota Tyler. You can also hit us up by email, Jimmy or Tyler at SnailTrail4x4.com, or you can phone in and be a part of our snail mail episodes at 916-345-4744.
Sweet. Sounds good. Final words to wrap up the episode. Whatever you want to leave people with today. It could be shitboxes are awesome. Live the shitbox life. It could be words of encouragement. I don't care. Whatever it is. Be whatever you had for lunch yesterday. Jimmy, what do you got?
Well, I want to say thanks for coming down and making the trip. I didn't realize that you were multiple hours away. I thought you actually lived up in like Grass Valley, Nevada City kind of area. I don't know.
It's about the same distance from Paradise. Is like,
Yeah?
it's only an hour and a half.
Oh, that's still thanks for making that drive and
for
coming
sure.
down to hang out
the
with
Honda
us.
Civic got me down here.
Yeah, there you go.
A different one than the one I told you
Yeah.
about. but
We'll have to find that 94 one for you sometime and get you back
It's
into
out
it.
there somewhere.
Yeah. But I think I just want to conclude with, mainly directed at Jason and Chris, but Toyotas are awesome.
They certainly are.
Yeah, and Donnie. Chris, anything to leave everybody with today?
I guess I should throw out a little like thanks to the sponsors, so I
for
mean, I
sure.
got 22 Hour Raceworks, Jim Punero. I've talked about them already, a lot of them, but 22 Hour Raceworks, Skies Off-Road Design, Redline Oil, Perry Built Custom. So Perry Foreman, if you need diff work,
Yeah.
get in contact with me. I can hook you up with him. What else we got? I mean, I kind of been like bad lines, good times, been like, kind of like partnership more on stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Signify Off-Road Events. My buddy Joe, he's one of the guys. I was down at Sonora Brewing,
Okay.
down at KOH.
Oh, cool.
Jensen and I being the drunks we were at one time. That's how we just hang out there all the time. They get a relationship with him, and I don't know. I'm sure there's some shit I'm forgetting, but I mean, Diamond fucking kind of hooked me up. But
spin that cup around. Is there
so
more on
Holy
there?
Performance. It's not like official, but like that's just like a homie group. They're fucking huge support of me.
Yeah.
I don't know,
That's it.
but I'll leave with this. It's just rock crawling. It's on the shirt right there.
That's just rock crawling.
The reason
I
it's
love it.
there is because that's me and Jensen's motto. You
Yeah.
know, to all these people out there, just like getting all hot and heavy in the racing, right? I mean, you're racing. You got to race with a purpose. You got to drive with a purpose. But it's just rock crawling. Don't go wad your shit up. Doing some crawl it.
Yeah.
If you can't get through this, then you're not gonna be able to do the rest of the race. So just do it.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of our thing, right? One thing we like about the racing is that it's like we joke about all the time. We're like, we like racing because we get to drive how we actually want to drive and not be looked at like assholes. Right? But it's just rock crawling.
It's another wreck day for you. There you go. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on, man. Great show. Everybody go check out Chris and Jensen over at Main Straight Racing. They got some fun stuff over on Instagram. You get to check out how they build diamond axles, which is pretty cool. I love the axle stuff. So thanks for coming on, man. It's been fun.
Yeah. Yep. No problem. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Don't forget everybody out there. It's just rock crawling.
It's just rock crawling, baby.
I got one for you.
Okay.
Where
Ready?
do baby cats learn to swim?
Baby cats learn to swim. I don't know. What do you think, Chris?
Sad. My brain never works on jokes, So.
What is a baby cat?
Kitten. A kiddie pool?
A kiddie pool.
Ah.
Good job.